conspiracy to commit murder.
All right, y'all, you're locked in here to the Midwest Mayhem.
I still always want to show up, and that's just, I have not lost any passion for the job.
Welcome to the Midwest Mayhem Podcast with your host Tyler and Lockie. This is where small town stories, wild headlines, and real conversations come together. We also shine a light on first responders, veterans, and on mental health. Because every voice deserves to be heard. This is the Midwest Mayhem Podcast.
I've been an open book about mental health.
We're from a federal prison.
Your fake leader hiding behind the title.
Hello, Mayhem Militia, and welcome back to the Midwest Mayhem Podcast. I am your host, Tyler, and today I am sitting here in Frontline Armory with my fantastic co-host, who I could not do this with, Lockie. Hi. Without. Did I say with?
Uh-huh.
Well, I couldn't do it without you, Lock. I'm a little off today. How are you doing?
I'm great, and you?
I'm doing good. It was a little bit of a rough weekend. Can't thank you enough for talking to me when I was in a little bit of a mental health episode, a little bit of a mental health crisis the other night. Your phone call really helped me out, and I really appreciate everything you do for me.
Absolutely.
So we are back here at Frontline Armory, our fantastic sponsor that lets us use their store every Sunday. I'm sure Nathan gets tired of us being here.
I don't think he does. I think he loves that we come in and we're, I'm usually had too much caffeine and like a rat on acid, and you leave batteries and forget mice and that kind of shit.
Yeah, you know how that goes. Last week he gave me a little bag. He's giving me cord straps, you name it. That guy's helped me out with everything that I can't possibly ever remember, and he's just a fantastic dude. And him and Craig love this place. It always smells fantastic in here. Mm-hmm. And again, they do so much for us. I can't thank them enough. Another shout out to our good friends over at Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen in Potosi. Adam and Christy, fantastic people. Love their coffee, great food. Some of the coolest food that I've ever seen. You ever seen a donut on a burger?
I have, but I've never tried it.
They have one.
Which that's where I saw it. Was there.
Yes.
Their biscuits and gravy, I'm still wanting that, but I'm trying to watch what I eat, so I don't indulge sometimes.
Yeah, well, their biscuits and gravy are really good.
They look really good.
I like their Medic Mocha Frappe. It's really, really good. It's my favorite.
Do they make it sugar-free?
I'm sure they probably could, if you asked. It's really good. Really sugary, and I probably shouldn't be drinking it, but it's really good. So, again, shout out to those guys. They back up our first responders over in Washington County and any other first responder around the area. I know Adam is a great guy. We did an episode with him, and go back and listen to it. Very intelligent man, and can't thank them enough. Another new sponsor we have here on the podcast is Fire Lake Winery out off 47. Sits on a beautiful 20-acre property with a nice lake on it. Beautiful winery, patio, great food, music. My wife loves their wine. So, and Rich out there, the owner, he is a fantastic gentleman and was on the Rizzuto show.
Yeah, in case no one knew, but I am a Team Riz member 2020, and so it was kind of cool. Yeah. And I was just out there, I guess it was last weekend or weekend before.
Last weekend.
And the atmosphere is awesome.
Yeah, it's so calm and so relaxed.
Yeah.
And you sit out by the lake. You can sit on their heated, cool patio.
Yeah.
I
want to go again, for sure.
Oh, definitely. We're actually going to go out there and do a recording with Rich when he, after tax season, because I think he does taxes.
Okay.
I think we're going to go out there and record with him and spend some time out there.
I'll need a bottle of wine, but then I'll probably tell secrets that shouldn't be told on YouTube.
On a podcast. Well, again, cannot thank those guys enough. They also back first responders. Anybody who sponsors this podcast is just absolutely loves to back our guys, and I can't thank them enough.
Well, and that's something that I've been a little bit more alert to what we're doing, and I didn't realize really how much of an impact we are making, because I will get a random message here or there, or somebody will ask about it. So I know that we are making a difference. I know that we do have some critics, but you know what? It is what it is.
I just call them my fan base.
Yes, and that's true. But I know that we are making a difference. I know that you and I both are very open about our struggles too. I mean, and that's proof. We both had our moment in our conversation. I listened, you listened. Yep. You talked, I talked. So, I mean, I know we're doing good things.
Yep, absolutely. And it's good to know that we can go back and forth amongst each other and then support the people that need support together.
Right.
So I know we're doing a good thing. Our mission is strong. Our mission is solid. And it is going to continue to move on. We're booked out, I think, into June now with guests.
Which is my birthday month, in case anybody was wanting to know that.
We're coming up on almost a year since you done your first episode with me.
Sitting there drinking Natty Light.
Yeah, in my kitchen counter with some really cheap microphones and a laptop.
Yep.
So we've really come a long way.
I know.
Really, really long way, and I'm really happy. I love doing this. I love hanging out with you. I love all of our guests that's been on here. Cannot thank them enough. So, again, thank you to our sponsors. Anybody who has supported us, we cannot thank you guys enough, and I hope we can continue to support you. And I think we better introduce our guest. He drove a really long way to get here. He drove about 2.5 hours today to get to Farmington to come record with us. And that just shows some dedication for how much he supports first responders. So let me do a little bit of an introduction for this gentleman, and we'll get rolling. So on Voices of Valor today, we have Joe, and I'm probably going to butcher your last name again. How do you say it?
Wilkes.
Wilkes. We have Joe Wilkes from, we're going to say Fort Leonard Wood, but it's actually up towards Waynesville. Is that correct?
Waynesville, yeah.
Yep. So he is a full-time fireman on Waynesville Fire, and he drove 2.5 hours to come do a Midwest Mayhem Voices of Valor podcast episode with us today. He is guest number 17 here on Voices of Valor. Cannot thank him enough. He is a firefighter with over 21 years of experience who started as a volunteer and built a full-time career dedicating and protecting his community. Over the years, Joe has experienced both the incredible rewards of the fire service and the weight that comes with it. Early in his career, a pediatric call left a lasting impact on him, shaping the way he understands the emotional toll this job can take. That experience led Joe to become a leader in supporting first responders and mental health, helping start the Pulaski County FRSST, the First Responder Stress Support Team, an organization focused on helping first responders navigate stress, trauma, and realities of the job. Outside of the fire service, Joe is a husband of 20 years and a proud father of 4. Joe, thank you so much for driving all the way here today, and thank you for being with us. I cannot thank you enough.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be on the show and share the mental health struggles that first responders have. It's become of the utmost importance to me and really lies dear to my heart.
Well, man, we cannot thank you enough for joining us here on this episode. Thank you for being our 17th guest and the dedication you're putting back into not only your job, but your brothers and sisters in the service.
Yeah, whenever you go through something, you don't want to see your brothers and sisters go through it. And that's what's created my journey.
Absolutely, man. Everybody has to find somewhere to start with a mission and then take off with it. We found our mission here on Midwest Mayhem with our Voices of Valor series, and everybody, at the end of the day, no matter what platform you're with, we're all on the same mission together. So we're happy to be here, happy to be with you. And we in the last hour that I was setting all the equipment and stuff up, Lockie and I have learned so much about you, and I feel like I've known you for 20 years. So kudos to you again. Thank you so much for coming. Huge shout out to Sam Nolick last week, guest number 16 on Voices of Valor. I got a lot of good feedback on her episode. She was an amazing guest. I'm so happy she was able to come do the podcast with us on as well. So
Well, and the neatest thing, she came in, I guess it was Friday when it was released, and her dad had listened to it. Mm-hmm. And he sent her the sweetest message and basically, validating her as a female, her as a mother, her as a provider. Mm-hmm. And that he said, I didn't even know some of the struggles. And I could just see how much that meant to her by him doing that. And so, I thought that was really neat that she came on and shared her story, because I know we didn't go super, super in depth just because of some of the situations that she has been in, but she has been through a lot. She's a very good example of who we are and what we are. And then her father doing that, not knowing what we do. Yeah. And so we're educating those people as well, family members who now they know what we go through. So
absolutely. So,
but it just made her. She was so excited when she came in and read it to me. So.
Well, good. I'm glad Sam. I'm so glad you got to experience that. And shout out to her dad for listening to her episode and supporting his daughter in her dream job and the job that she loves and that she plans to retire from. She made that very clear. So Justin Duncan, if you're listening, sounds like you're going to be stuck with her for quite a while, brother. But I want to get into Joe's story today. I know it's going to be a really good one. I'm so excited to dig into his story. So let's jump into it. Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how your journey. If I can talk again today, let's throw that out there, get it out of my way here. Where you're from and how your journey in the fire service began, man.
Well, I'm from a little town called Crocker, Missouri. 1,000 people, real small town. A lot of my friends had joined this fire service when they were 15, 16 years old. I resisted it for whatever reason. And when I was 23, my best friend Jeremy talked me into joining, and I said, sure, I'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. And that's kind of the start of everything. That's where it all went well for me, or went bad, whichever way you want to look at it. And that's just how it started, just that easy. It wasn't a big hoorah moment or nothing. It was just showing up and realizing that was something that I yearned for, and that's how it began.
Well, you say something you yearn for, and we haven't actually talked, because it's been a while since we've had a firefighter on.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
But was it the community and that sense of family that weren't blood family too that kind of drew you to that?
Yeah, I have 3 sisters and 1 brother, but they're all significantly older than me, so I grew up basically as an only child. And although I had a brother, I didn't have that age close brother or in common. And it was a yearning for that brotherhood of knowing that I could count on this guy for anything.
Right.
And that was, I didn't realize that's what I was wanting at the time, but that's what I really needed desperately.
Which that's kind of how you were with,
Yep. That's
that was your place of
that was the
your safe haven.
Yes, that was the guidance that I needed. That was the safe haven I needed, and something that if it wouldn't have been for the fire service, I can tell you right now, I would not be the person I am today.
And that's majority of the young men that I've met that's basically what saved their life.
And my story is a little different. I mean, I didn't come from a real bad broken home.
No.
But I came from a home that wasn't. How do I say this without making my parents feel bad? I don't really know how to say it, but I came from a home that wasn't as solid as it could have been. It wasn't. My parents weren't drug addicts. They loved me to death. They done everything they possibly could for me. Unfortunately, in the era that I grew up in, the early 2000s, the early 10s, and all that, the economy just went so far north and south and north and south and up and down. It was hard to build a stable life for people. I mean, look at the financial crisis of 2008.
Right.
I mean, that was a big deal. I was 8 then. So the fire service really helped me build because my dad wasn't around. My dad is unfortunately still is addicted to drugs. He wasn't around a whole lot. I had my stepdad and loved the guy to death and will do anything in the world for him. But he stepped in and took care of me, and I gave him the hardest time when I was a kid, and I still feel terrible about it. But not having your actual dad, there's just something about not having your actual father figure there that just breaks your heart and makes you not want to do things that you should do in life. So the fire service was a father figure in a whole to me. Not only it wasn't just one person; it was the shape of the department that shaped me.
Well, and I think it's one of those things too. I've always said, kids like discipline, and you had discipline at the firehouse. I mean, yeah, you could be silly or whatever, but yet there was discipline.
That sense of order.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember little Brett Horton getting his rear end jumped one day by his mother and his stepfather at the time, and I believe he got a new video game and didn't do the dishes or something. So shout out to you, Brett.
Yeah. For living with your mom.
So Joe, at what point did you decide to turn your job into a full-time career? We're talking you were in the volunteer service. How long were you in the volunteer service before you said, you know what, it's time for me to go do this full-time?
I'd been a volunteer for 7 years, and I'd had some great leaders. They were so dedicated to their community with no pay. It was ridiculous. I mean, these guys were there all hours a day, all hours a night, and I wanted to emulate them and be as close to them as I could be. And it was whenever I had my children, or was going to have my children. We adopted my oldest son whenever he was 3, and he came to live with us. And whenever we got pregnant with my twins, I was like, okay, it's time for me to do something my kids can be proud of.
Yeah.
That's what really wanted me to be a career fireman. I wanted my kids to be able to go to school and say, what's your dad do? He's a truck driver. What's your dad do? He's this. What's your dad do? He's a fireman. And I just wanted my kids to be proud of me. It was my driving force for making it a career. I mean, not only that, there's the obvious answer of I want to help people and, the normal stuff. but I was a little bit older, so having my kids be proud of me was huge. It was monstrous. And to have my wife be proud of me, to be able to say her husband's a fireman, he saves lives for a living. That's what really drew me to be a career fireman. Yeah.
Wow.
I know it's kind of maybe not the typical answer, but that's my answer.
Right.
And Joe, that's my favorite thing about this podcast. Lockie and I are never looking for your typical answer.
No.
Right.
No.
We are always looking for the unique and the not the same person and same story every time. And I'm really glad that you worked really hard to strive for your children and your wife to become their hero. Because no matter what, man, you could be a lawyer, you could be a doctor, you could be a bum on the street, but no matter what, to your kids, you will always be a hero.
Right, and that's what I wanted. I wanted my kids to, when they spoke of me, whether I'm here or when I'm gone, to say, Dad did his best. He did everything he could do. He helped people that he never knew, and to me, that to be in service to others there's no higher calling, in my opinion.
That's what I always say. I do too.
That is amazing, man. Kudos to you for being the family man that you are, the committed husband that you are. Looking back over 21 years, what has kept you committed to this job? Because I know in 21, you've been in the fire service almost as long as I've been alive. In that 21 years that you've been doing this, what has just kept you finding that drive to keep going, pushing forward after all some of these difficult calls that we're going to talk about here in a little bit? What has just kept you going?
It's the same answer as when I joined. It's the brotherhood. I wanted to make sure that my brothers and sisters could always count on me, that they knew I'd be there no matter what. And there were times where I didn't want to be there at all.
Amen.
But I knew my brothers and sisters counted on me, and I'll be damned if I was going to let them down. And that's what kept me going.
It's that purpose.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you find your true purpose, and who was it that was telling us? I went out to MAC a week ago Monday. They did or Friday, the 1033 Foundation. And the guy came and spoke to us, and it's about stress management for first responders. And he said, it's a calling. This is a calling.
Yeah.
I do think some people choose it because, a lot of times they'll say, well, I had a best friend do this, or I was involved in a car accident and, I wanted to be that. But it is a calling. It's something that I know for me, I just get to finally say I love my job and I'm getting paid to do something that I love. That's like that's a great thing. That's what pays my bills.
The fact they pay me to go to work is amazing. I
And
don't know
do
why
my
they would do
passion,
that.
what God intended for me to do on this earth is amazing.
I had my second chief I ever had. I asked him, or several people had asked him, why'd you get into this business? And he was a volunteer, and he goes, well, I was 16, and you got to drive fast through town. That was his reasoning.
Yeah.
And obviously it morphed into more, but that was his basic reason for joining. He got to drive fast through town.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we all have different paths, but we all get led to the same point.
Right.
It's just amazing how it happens.
He says that driving fast through town, it reminds me of Brett Horton coming through Bismarck in that brown pickup truck they had.
Oh, Lord.
Here comes little Brett with his brown truck, and that's way older than him, and he's just bebopping through town. He's getting to the firehouse. Oh, we got to get him on here.
I told him.
We've got to get him on here.
I don't know if it was, I guess it was Sunday because it was his birthday. And I said, you're going to be probably hearing happy birthday all week long. But I said, I wish you would come on here because he does have a lot of things that he's, been a part of. And I just think he is my kid. And I could give you a laundry list of things, how he's a pain in the ass, but he truly has the passion for it. And that's what I love to see when people, like sitting here with you and talking about it, you radiate how much you do love this job and what it means to you. And I love that for people. I love when other people are happy and passionate. I don't even care if it's like when I talk about my rocks. You can tell I love rocks whenever I talk about them. And I love that. And that's, I don't know. I can tell the passion that you have.
And that passion is a wave. And what I mean by that is you, whatever, like me finding mental health and helping people, like helping other first responders, is a high on that wave.
Yes.
10 years ago, I was at a very low on that wave. And it's finding ways to stay on top.
Yeah.
And that's key.
Yeah.
So
Because it's so easy just to jump right into all the negativity or the woe is me, the pity party. It's so much easier to do that because sometimes in our job, it's not always the positive.
and anybody can be negative, 'cause that's easy.
Oh, yeah, it's super easy.
Anybody can be a Debbie Downer,
Yeah.
but it's work to stay on top.
Yes, it is.
Like you have to go into work and say, okay, I'm gonna have a great day, and this is how I'm gonna do it.
Yep.
And that can be difficult. It can be hard to find that gumption, that strength, that whatever it is, to have that positive outlook on life and your job. It takes a lot of strength. I'm not bragging on myself. That's not what I mean. But I work with a guy that is always positive. He's always on top of his game. His name's Danny Coleman, just a great dude, and he has pulled me out of some real bad funks. And we'll get into that later. But yeah, just a great dude, and he keeps me on top.
Yeah. And I've always said it is truly the people you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
Oh, most
really
definitely.
is,
I
you
couldn't
know.
agree with that one
Yeah.
more.
Absolutely.
So Joe, we've discussed the brotherhood and the drive to stay there for your brothers and your sisters. I want to talk because I myself, when I created your script, I wanted to throw this in here because to me, I've only been around for 26 years. You've been a fireman for 21. I want to learn what the fire service was like when you started and how much it has changed to now because you're not from our area.
Right.
Like I've talked to fire chiefs I've had in the past. They've told me their story down here. I want to know, how has it changed for you from the time you started as a volunteer to the time you became career? How much has it changed and how has it affected you?
Well, I'm not quite old enough to have rode tailboards, so I'm not that old. But it was a little Wild Westy, I guess you'd say. Mm-hmm. You know, I can remember watching one of my captains from my volunteer days walking down a wall of a burned out house, and the only thing standing was this one wall. And he's walking down with a hose line, put out fire on both sides of him, 8 feet off the ground, no ropes, no safety net, just doing his job. Mm-hmm. You don't see that anymore. It doesn't happen. And it's just the way it morphed into the safety aspect, which is good, but it's an unsafe job. And you have to be unsafe at times. And just that image of Rob Ishmael walking down that wall, spray out fire on both sides of him was just amazing. And that's a idea of how it's changed, because any of your listeners that have been to a structure fire know that that's just not something you see. It just doesn't happen. So that's how it's changed for me, is the safety aspect in the biggest way. And we'll get into more of the rest of it, but as far as the job itself, that's how it's changed.
So now, did you said you were 7 years as volunteer, correct? Mm-hmm. So in that 7 years, is that when you acquired your firefighter 1 and 2? Do you have an EMT license? I mean,
no, I that's why I acquired my 1 and 2 ops and awareness, hazmat ops and awareness. I did go, originally I went through EMT school because I wanted to be an EMT. I wanted to be on the bus because I thought that was a purpose. I didn't know much about the fire service then. So I went through EMT school, passed everything except the National Registry because screw that thing. It kicked me in the teeth.
Amen.
And I thought, okay, well, I've got all the knowledge. I might as well do something with it. So that's why I pursued the 1 and 2 and went through that way. Matter of fact, when I was taking my state practicals, I was taking them in Kansas City or an outskirt of Kansas City, somewhere in that area. And my son, I was taking him in Rolla. And my son was having heart surgery. My oldest son, my adopted son, was having heart surgery in Kansas City. So I was going back and forth between practicals and my son having heart surgery. That's how much I wanted this.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, my son was first and foremost. But whenever I knew he was safe, he was sleeping, I'd go take my practicals. So that's how it happened,
okay.
which is kind of made me look like a bad father, but
No, not at
you know,
all.
it was just a dedication.
And who was it we talked to? Was it Dylan Miner that we talked to that would his daughter Ella was in the hospital?
Yeah.
And he was going back and forth trying to do trainings. And Tommy Hill done that as well when Easton had
Yes.
his heart surgery.
Yeah.
So we've had a couple guys on here that have had to do that same experience. And that, I mean, man, that is dedication. Tommy was driving from St. Louis to Leadington to St. Louis, back to Leadington, back to St. Louis, between work, hospital, and to make it down here for his meetings and stuff. So
I think I heard that episode. He did that for like 2 months or something.
yeah. Tommy's
crazy
episode
like
was
that?
a really
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah.
So absolutely, that is some dedication that I'm not sure I would have in my heart to do. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
With that, I want to learn what the most rewarding parts of the fire service are to you, because every fireman that you talk to has a different reward system in their own mind. I have my own. Lockie has her own, and I forgot to tell you this earlier, but Lockie just got back in the fire service as well.
I heard on Sam's episode. matter of fact.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah. So,
Yep.
what is your reward system in your mind? What makes you feel rewarded with your job?
Seeing people I've trained surpass me. Whenever you have a young fireman that becomes better than you, it's almost like your children. You want to see your children do better than you. And whenever I train young firemen, and then they go on to work at St. Louis or wherever, I haven't had that happen yet, but whenever you see that happen, it's just amazing to see them going so far off what you taught them. And yeah, that's tooting my own horn a little bit, but that's an amazing
No,
feeling.
it's not. And I love that you said that, because that just solidifies even more of the type of human you are. Because I am very much that way. I love the fact I was the first one of the three of us to go to EMT school, and then my daughter did.
Yeah.
Then Sid did.
And then Brett.
Then Brett, and they all are better than I am.
Yeah.
Sydney is a critical care paramedic. Brett's a firefighter, EMT, and I run calls now with Brett when we're on the fire side, because he's actually my assistant chief of
He's
the
your
department.
boss.
Yeah. And that's what he told me. He goes, you realize I'm going to be your boss? Well, son, you've been my boss for 25 years. I don't know what's anything different. But I sat back and I watched him, and I was like emotional about it, because I thought, that's my little boy doing that. And he is better than I am. And I don't know that all parents realize that, because I kind of had a different situation. I always felt like I was competition with one of my parents. And I think that goes back to, that's a whole other episode of childhood trauma bullshit. But I never wanted that. I wanted better for my kids. And when I have, that's like I can't tell you how many I've been through medic school. And it was worse on me than it was ever on them, because they do change. But it's such an honor to see them not be baby paramedics, not be, when they're baby paramedics, when they're baby firemen, and then when they do that.
Or when you hear about a call they were on and they made this decision.
Yes.
And you're like, holy crap, that was balls out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You hear about those stories and you just well up with pride,
Yeah.
thinking, I helped create that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're their own man or woman, but I'm the foot they stood on.
Yes. Yep.
And that's just an awesome feeling. And it's not just that. I mean, it's not just preparing tomorrow, but yeah, that really is what it is.
And I think when you have this type of passion, you want to, because at some point we're going to get to the point where we can't do it anymore. And
Don't say that.
I know. I don't know what I'll do. I'll be probably dementia. And according to Brett and Sydney, it'll either be Georgia and Gardens or Bellevue Valley Nursing Home.
I won't let them.
Please don't.
I'll get I'll get some more sponsors. The Midwest Maine will pay for you a luxury
Presbyterian Manor, maybe.
Yeah, a luxury nursing home.
But it's that we're setting that foundation, and I'm not always the best example, but I mean, when it comes time to really work and be a good example, I feel like I'm laying that foundation for the next generation to figure out, this is how I want to do this. How did she find the time? How did she find the passion? And that's, and even like Sydney now, Sydney's starting to become one of the older ones, the seasoned ones, because most of our new EMTs and paramedics, especially the EMTs, are 19 years old. They're babies still.
It's crazy. You say she's seasoned.
Well, she is.
No, I know. But it's just weird because I remember when she was a
Right.
fresh paramedic or fresh EMT and then a fresh
Yeah.
medic. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It kind of makes me feel old, and I'm not even old yet.
But, and I, pretty much all of our new hires are 19 years old.
Yeah.
It's
That's a good thing, though. It's a good problem to have.
It is until you ride with them in the back of an ambulance and they're driving. It's not, but
I had a crew, my last crew that I was on, I had two people in my crew, a male and female, and I could be their father.
yeah.
And that was the first time it happened to me. And it was such a surreal feeling. It was just crazy. And now one of them has surpassed me by leaps and bounds, Katie Price, sorry. And she knows more about the fire service I ever thought about. it's just really impressive and see that, because she came on such drive, and that gave me drive.
Yes.
Like you feed off of it. It was so cool.
And once again, it goes back to who you surround yourself with.
Yeah,
It really does.
So, huge shout out to Katie Asher, our Price. Yeah, I haven't talked to her in forever, but Katie, thank you so much for directing Joe in our direction to come on the podcast. I was actually on Leadwood Fire with Katie back way when, and when he said Katie directed me to this, I'm like, who's Katie? But thank you so much for pointing Joe in our direction and having him come on with us today, because she's the reason he's here.
Well, and that was kind of the conversation we had before we started recording. You know, for me, definitely most of these, well, I've not had a supervisor yet that was not, could be a child of my own age. But I mean, I learned from them, and that's what we talked about. You know, I've learned more from these kids than what they could ever learn from my old ass. But
You know, there's a guy named Jaden Thomas in my department who has his degree in fire science. He's leaps and bounds smarter than I am in the fire service as far as book learning, for to sound so hillbilly. But I've learned a lot from him just by listening to him. And I'm an old dog. I'm an old salty, guy. And if we can take that chip off our shoulder and just frickin' listen, you can learn a ton.
Yeah.
From kids that are kids. So
Well, and sometimes I've watched them do something. They've suggested, well, this is how I do it. And I'm like, well, for shit's sake, I wish I'd known that 20 years ago, because that was a lot easier than what
you may not tell them necessarily, but
sometimes I do. But that is another thing. I'm probably inflating your head here too. But you're actually naming these people. So many times we don't want to say, thank you, so-and-so, by name. But you've dropped, how many names have been dropped
3 or
just
4
in
at
the
least.
we're in how many minutes of
31
recording?
minutes.
31 minutes. That says a lot, again, about how humble you are and how proud you are of your job and the people you work with, because that doesn't happen very often. And we can speak to a few people in leadership that I guarantee you would never name drop where they
Ever.
learned something from.
Ever.
Yes.
That's a heavy ever.
Yes, with to the bottom
Yes,
of it, or at the back of
absolutely.
it. So I commend you on that as
Thank you.
well.
And when I was in the fire service, I was a nerd. Me and Brett
You
Horton.
were a nerd. You are a nerd.
I still am a nerd.
Yes.
Brett and I went neck and neck for years. We were nerds together. We went to junior fire academy together. When new people would come, I was so dedicated at the department I was on. When new people would come on the department, they didn't assign them a senior fireman to show them the trucks, to show them the equipment, to show them the gear. It was me, and I was a junior. I knew those trucks like the back of my hand and could
Yes.
tell you blindfolded where something was, because when I was bored, that's what I did. I went and taught myself what tools were. I learned, if somebody was at the firehouse, I learned from them. It was so bad that I got made fun of for it.
I had a captain that wrote on our board, if you're not leading people to teach, you're not teaching them to lead.
That's a good one.
It's fantastic. Whenever we have a new guy come in, because we have volunteers that come in all the time. Whenever we have somebody new come in, I assign, so I'm a lieutenant, or not assign, but ask for Asher or Riley or somebody else to go show them the truck. That's giving them responsibility. That's giving them leadership. That's giving them some buy-in. And that's so important for our younger generation to have that big buy-in. I'm saying younger generation as in the next generation of firemen, to have that buy-in that, I am part of this. I am doing something here. It's huge.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with that one more. I always found it neat and took pride. That's what drove me in the fire service, was being able to teach guys that were 10, 20. And shout out to Jim Adams if he's listening to this. I haven't talked to him in a long time. But Jim, if you're listening to this, you were the one that inspired me to keep pushing forward and to keep going, brother. So if you're listening to this, this one's to you. Because Jim was the first one that ever told me, thank you for teaching me.
Well, and I have to say, for as far as an influence for me, that he never gave up on me was Kurt Kemp.
Yeah.
And I appreciate him, as far as him pushing me. And then Amy Warden.
Yep.
She was another one. I mean, those are the people that, and then I have so many of the younger kids that, I can't thank enough for them being examples. And I don't know, this is just a job that you can't explain the relationships you develop with people because you're with them all the time. And so many times, unfortunately, it's all of they want the glory, but really, majority of the people that do this job are very humble people. They really are.
They really, deep down they are.
You have to be in some ways.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I just admire somebody that can acknowledge, and I mean, these are kids that could be our kids.
Yeah.
That we're acknowledging.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah. So, so is the department you're on, are you all considered more of a rural? Because I know you have.
Yeah, it's in our name.
Because I follow, I didn't realize this, but I follow your department on Facebook. And then, of course, I know Katie, but I know you guys have some highways that are pretty busy or whatever. So
yeah, we run 10 miles, I think, of I-44
Oh, wow.
through some nasty area.
Yes.
So, yeah, we run a lot of highway.
But it is it's rural
Yeah,
medicine, rural
the name of
fire.
our department
and-
is Waynesville Rural Fire Protection District, so it's in our name. We surround Waynesville, St. Robert, and parts of Fort Leonard Wood, so all the rural area is us.
Okay.
About
My wife will-
152 or 163 square miles, I can't remember now. So, yeah, we have a large area that is rural.
And then who's your ambulance service? Actually?
PCAD, Pulaski County Ambulance District.
Okay. Okay. Just kind of give some of our other fire nerds an idea of, and our EMS
Gotta
nerds
give
too.
them-
We always like to know what ambulance service.
Sure. Yeah.
You know.
Got to give them their fix.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I always, that is one of the things because I've only known rural medicine and pre-hospital stuff. I actually worked at a district at one point. We were BLS crews.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm talking where the hoot owls at the
Boonies.
chickens. Yeah. And, so that's where I know that's
Good
another one
Lord,
of my
Lockie.
favorite sayings. I don't think sometimes people understand that the volunteer firemen or your paid department are sometimes the first ones there for a good solid 20
Yeah.
minutes possibly before
Absolutely.
an ambulance gets there. Because I know we were always criticized about, well, you guys fly everything. You fly this, you fly that. Okay, but when you're literally out in the middle of the sticks,
Yeah.
Glover.
you're going to have to fly.
There's places in our district where they're an hour and a half from critical care.
Yeah.
From a hospital.
Yeah.
And there's places in our district that are automatic lift, not in our district, but the neighboring district that are automatic lifts.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever they get called an unconscious unresponsive, the helicopter lifts automatically because it's just too long to get them to a hospital by ground. So, yeah, and we do a lot of like scene flights and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're just as, from what I gather, just as rural as you guys.
Yeah, because like I said, that's kind of one thing that we all are always curious about.
Oh, for sure. Especially the fire nerds out there that listen to this podcast. You're welcome. And speaking of fire nerds that listen to this podcast, I want to give you a compliment on that mustache.
Thank you.
Dylan, I promise I'm not cheating on you. I love your mustache just as much, but this dude's got like the walrus thing going on.
Yes.
I love it. It's awesome. When I made his episode cover, I was like, man, that thing is sick.
Well, it's funny too because Brett we've literally been in restaurants and grown ass men have walked over and been like, "Oh my God, I love your mustache."
I've had the same thing happen.
Yes, and then I'm like, oh, go back and sit down because this
Yeah.
feeds into it.
Yep.
But and of course now when I'm out and I'll see somebody, I'm like, I bet he's a fireman.
Yep.
He has to be a fireman.
Yep.
But because the mustache is the thing. So
I don't have a mustache. Does that mean I can't be a fireman?
can you even grow one?
I was
I
going to say the
can, but
same
Maria
thing.
won't let me. She gets mad if I do it. I tried.
I
See,
sometimes have to keep mine plucked too.
see, but when I go to grow one, I look like I either look like a 70s porn star or something that I don't really want to mention on this podcast. I think you know where I'm going with
I
that.
do know where you're going.
So you mentioned when let me preface this. We've established that you and your commitment to your brothers and sisters in this fire service is surreal and just unreal. You are so dedicated to protecting your brothers and sisters in the service, having their back, and being able to be all you can be during it. I want to get into some of the tougher stuff. I want to learn what they did for you in your time of need. So we're gonna kind of cross that line where it's about time we get into the heart wrenching stuff.
Sure.
If you guys are cool with that.
Yeah.
When you emailed me your biography for your script, you mentioned a pediatric call earlier in your career that had a profound impact. Can you walk us through that, how it affected you, Can you walk us through the call, obviously without breaking any kind of HIPAA violation? But can you walk us through that and kind of help us understand where this impact led you?
Well, it was, I'm assuming I can give the date.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It was June 17th, 2016. I'll be 100 years old. I remember the date. And me and my current captain, Danny Coleman, got called to a unconscious unresponsive. En route, we found out it was pediatric. So we found out that our truck will go 110 before it shuts down, which was interesting. And we get there, and a gentleman walks up and hands me his dead daughter. And she was 2 years old, I found out. I've never held a weight that heavy. It was crazy that it was so heavy. And, immediately started CPR. That training kicked in, and it just went from there. And as I looked back, I'll go back and forth in the story, but as I looked back on it later on, I had a son, my youngest son, who is the same age. Same blonde hair, same blue eyes. And as I'm doing CPR on this little girl, I was doing CPR on my son. I couldn't, in my recollection, I couldn't distinguish which one was which. And that was part of the trauma, the crazy, whatever you want to call it. I couldn't make the difference. So we get in the back of the bus. Me and Danny, the medic, and the EMT was driving. And we left our truck on scene. We just abandoned it, running. So anybody and their brother could have taken it. We didn't care. We worked this little girl. We got her back 3 times to a pulse rate of 60 or so, maybe 50. So not enough. It wasn't enough to sustain her little body. And ultimately lost her. And I went outside, and it felt like that's when I became a firefighter. Like up until that, it was just fun and games. And that's when it hit me that, oh shit, you're a fireman.
Yep.
You're not doing the heroic crap. You're doing the down and dirty, the stuff that people don't talk about.
So was that that was truly like your first, major call where, and I think it's interesting you say that because, and I think we've talked about it here. I was always the white cloud. When I did clinicals at the ambulance district to get my EMT license, I literally would sit there for 8 hours with nothing. I would pull out of the parking lot, head down 8 highway to go home, and
then
they'd
tones would
kick
drop.
out for
Yep.
worst case. And I don't know what it was because I would, I surrounded myself with everybody that did the job, and they'd talk about this call, that bad call, this, that, whatever. And I never felt like I was a real air quotes EMT.
Yeah.
And that I had the same experience. Mine was a pediatric call that I felt like, holy fucking shit, I'm an EMT.
Yeah.
I'm not a wife. I'm not a mother. I'm not a teacher. I'm an EMT.
Yeah.
And now I have to take on all the emotions that go along with it because I am a mother. I am a wife.
Yeah.
I'm a provider. And that's where it kicked my ass of figuring out that I'm next level now.
Right. Yeah, and up until then, I had worked lots of dead bodies. People mangled,
Me
tore
too.
up. It's
Right,
like, okay,
right.
that's a 57-year-old guy that his head got chopped off or whatever. That sucks. But it wasn't sucky enough.
It wasn't
I guess.
impactful.
It wasn't as impactful as carrying this little girl. And I visit her grave every year on June 17th.
And there's
Still do.
nothing wrong with that.
I've done that for however long now.
It'll be 10 years this year.
Yeah, I had trouble finding her grave for the first 2 years. I finally, anyway, I visit every year. My wife knows that come June, Joe's going to change a little.
Yep.
And after the 17th, I can reset and go on with life. But that same guy, Danny Coleman, said, I told him I was going to do, and he goes, can I go with you? Yeah, man. He said, you'll never do this alone again. Because I was always by myself.
Right.
He said, you're never doing this alone again.
Right. Well, and that's one thing we've talked about before. It does sound creepy, but now with the like Facebook and all that shit,
Technology.
social media,
Social media.
we have access to them.
Yeah.
We have access to, it wasn't just that body, that capsule of a soul. We now can Facebook them, see them alive, what they had. And
Yep.
and is it healthy? Probably not.
No.
Is it healing? I'd
Somewhat.
like to say probably.
Somewhat, yeah.
And, at some point, maybe you won't go and visit in June. But it's really weird because we are strangers now. We're not now, but
Right.
I had this, your story is basically my story as
Yeah.
well. I have my little guy, Hunter, that I go by myself. I've had a few people go with me, but I have to go too.
Yeah.
In May. Mine's
Yep.
May. So,
And there's a,
and you are never the same.
no.
Never.
The guy was June 16th, was happy-go-lucky, waha, party all the time, woo. June 18th, different dude. And we'll go into the long-term effects of that whenever you want to, but
Yep, we're getting ready to walk into that.
okay.
So did you, when this happened, because, and we're going to get into this too about your, the mission that you have, did you have like a debrief? What did you all do? Or did you just come back and be like, yeah, I'm good? I mean, how did you handle it?
At the hospital, I had a good cry. Never cried over.
Okay, but did you do it privately or did you let other people see you cry?
I didn't give two shits who saw me.
Okay.
At that time, because I was just in my own little world. And come to find, I just found this out Friday. Danny, I've mentioned him a lot, and I will mention him a lot, was with me. And I looked over, and he was also teared up and crying a little bit. And it struck me as odd. And I said, man, I noticed, I've asked you this a couple of times. You never gave me, and he said, I never gave you a straight answer. He said, I was crying because,
Nothing wrong with it, brother.
I was
promise you.
crying because you were hurting. And that ripped my guts out. And I know it's kind of getting off subject a little bit, but that's
do
where
that, though.
A lot.
That's
Yeah. But that's how stories are told.
that was so impactful that sure he was sad because there's loss of life and as a child, but seeing one of his brothers hurt that bad tore him up.
And that's what I think so many of us love this job. Because that is when you can have that compassion for another human being and care, that's
Yeah.
a lot.
You know, I'm going to reference back to Justin's episode. I didn't find that entire episode until it was finally time to say goodbye. He's still kicking and breathing. I was messing with him on Facebook. Speaking of which, you need to go to a post he shared yesterday if you're friends with him.
I am, yeah.
And read some comments that I left him. They're hilarious.
Okay.
But Justin's episode, at the end of it, I don't know what came over me that day. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. I couldn't even, you literally had to wrap the episode
Right,
out that day
right.
because I couldn't.
And usually I'm the one. But I have a very, and I used to, I hated it for a long time because I'm a very, very, very strong, empathetic. I can remember in kindergarten when somebody would get in trouble, I hurt for them. Even though they were being shits, it's still, I hurt
Yeah.
for them. And I'm that way. I mean, if I see somebody hurt or whatever, but now I kind of embrace that because I feel like my dad had the gift, my grandfather, and now I consider it a gift because I feel like people can come and talk to me. They can dump on me and I can be there. And because when I cry, I cry genuinely because I hurt for that person.
And that's so strange you said that because I'm very empathetic. If you're hurting, I never met you in my life, but if you're hurting, for some reason I hurt too. And for a long time I fought it.
Me too.
And now it's like, okay, that makes me a better first responder.
Absolutely.
That makes me better at my job, that I can feel your pain.
Yes.
And I'll take that with me. And that's when it sucks.
So that kind of leads me into this next little section in this segment here. How did that moment change your understanding of how impactful this job can be? And at that time, were there mental health resources? Was this a conversation you could go back to your firehouse and have a breakdown of the call? Or was it just kind of everybody keep it to themselves, we don't really talk about it type of situation?
Yeah. At my firehouse, we were all tight, but you didn't want to be that guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I did something that I don't know had been done or not. I told my captain at the time, Tracy, I said, hey, man, I'm going home to hug my kids. And I was like, deuces, I'll be back in an hour. And went home, loaded my kids for a little bit, went back to work as though I had just ran a cat in a tree and went back to work. There wasn't any after action. There wasn't any support groups. There wasn't anything. It was just deal with it and move on. And it wasn't because the guys didn't want to help. They just didn't know how.
That's a lot of the problem in this area. It's not that they don't want to help, if they don't know how.
Right.
And I think that it's just a difficult thing to do.
It is.
And
It's a scary thing
it
to
is
do.
a scary thing. And I know going through grief, and you shared with us earlier, it's been a year now since you lost your father.
Year and a half, yeah.
And it's a different thing when you lose, because both of my parents are deceased. And it's a huge thing because the two people that created you no longer walk this earth.
Right.
And, you know, I was never like prepped for grief. And so when I lost my mom and dad, I shit you not, I went off the rails. Like I've had to apologize to people. I had to seek serious mental health help, but it puts a target on your back. And, you know, it's so deep and you get so wrapped into it. And I'm not 100% sure where I was going with this, but, you know, you don't want people to say, well, you know, they're better off. Well, you know what? Fuck you, because I want that here. And I know for me, I had so much quote unquote survivors guilt because his mother, Hunter's mom, Dory, found me on Facebook and wanted to know things. And, you know, and I had said to her when I left the hospital that afternoon, I said, we're bound for the rest of our lives. And I sometimes think there were situations, had I not befriended Dory, had I not been with her, maybe I would handle things differently.
Right.
But I didn't, because once again, I think God put you where, because I knew the minute they opened up the back of that ambulance, my time was done with Hunter. And I had to do the next step. But, you know, it's just it changes you completely. It changes how you do the job. It just changes everything. And go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, because I'm kind of just, I don't know. I don't think people understand, because we do this job, you go through the training. Hunter's case, and I don't know about this little girl's case, it was the fucking textbook, the ALS algorithm. It should have worked.
Right. Everything we
That
did,
week
every intervention
prior,
we did
yes.
should have worked fine.
Well, that week of Hunter's drowning, I taught CPR 2 times. I taught the algorithm. I knew the fucking algorithm. They did that on scene. But
Right.
it did not save that little boy.
And
Go ahead.
at that point, you sit there and question, why the fuck do I even
Yes.
train?
Yeah.
Why do I train if it doesn't work?
And then I don't know about you. I struggled because Dory and I consider Dory, she is a lifelong relationship that she, like I said, she and I are bound together for the rest of our lives. I felt guilty posting things about Brett and Sydney on Facebook.
Because you knew somebody else was hurting.
Yes, but I mean, and everything I've done, I mean, I have a tattoo in honor of Hunter. When I go down to the spot where he drowned, I take pictures. I send them to Dory because she doesn't get to come and visit. And that's one of the things she said to me. Thank you for letting my little boy live on, even though he physically isn't here. And so that's where me taking on the pain, sometimes I feel like this is what I am, because God knows I'm strong enough to share what we're doing.
Right.
And to meet people like you, because Ashton gets remembered every day, whether it's good or bad. Hunter does. And I have another patient, and Michael, I'll just use his first name. They get remembered because we tell the stories.
Yeah.
And that's what I think in grief, we don't always realize, that it's okay to be positive. It's okay to share those things and to share their life,
Well,
because it does help.
you know, with this little girl's case, it shaped everything I've done since then.
Yes.
All the positives that have come of it, you could call it her name first. You know what I mean? FRSST. Because that's where it came from. And I don't have the same relationship that you have with Hunter's mother. Because these folks were different folks.
Rough around the edges.
And if, just speaking from me, if my little girl had that happen, I'm not just going to hand her and walk away. I'm on your shoulder the entire time, right, wrong, or indifferent. And I mean, she went out the back door. She was 2. She climbed in the pool. It was just, it could have happened to anybody. I just don't have the same relationship. I was angry with them,
Right.
incredibly angry with them, until I went to their grave for the first time, and it was on the same day, and there were flowers left by her mother. Like, okay, they are human. So anyway, that's kind of a sidebar, but
And I think that's sometimes another thing that this has taught me too, of everybody handles grief differently. And as first responders, we're real guilty of saying, well, Joe wasn't on that call. I don't know why he's in there talking, doing the debriefing. He wasn't even there. No, you have no right to say that.
right.
Because you are a father. And even if there's that secondhand grief that goes
Secondary
along
trauma.
with, yes, that people, it's real.
Yeah,
It
we
is
are.
absolutely real.
Yeah.
And, that's why we try to incorporate our dispatchers in here and getting across to the community and to loved ones that don't know their job. They struggle with this too. Because it's just this is not normal what we do. You shouldn't, and that's why with the 19-year-olds doing this, they shouldn't see some of the stuff that we see, none of us are built to
Nope.
see this.
Nope.
The average, I read a study that the average citizen sees 3 to 5,
Yep.
I believe, traumatic things in their lifetime.
Yep.
We see that a week
We see that in a shift.
Well,
or a shift.
if I'm not mistaken, Emily sent me a text message yesterday. C Crew at Washington County Ambulance District ran over 40 calls in 48 hours.
I think Maria told me that.
Yes, and this is what, and this goes back to that empathetic crap that the burden, whatever you want to call it, that I have. My daughter is, I can't even tell you how many people she's intubated in the last 2 or 3 weeks. She's been assaulted 3 times. She has, horrible accidents. And I hurt because not only am I her coworker, but I'm her mother.
Yeah.
And that's why we have to, as the older, but I have to say, this younger generation that is being produced at MAC in this job, they are bringing this, and once again, not to pat ourselves on the back, but we are the ones that are laying this foundation for this younger generation
Absolutely.
of doing this.
Absolutely.
And I was shocked. The one he wasn't a little boy, but the one young man, he was like, Miss Branson, I need to go back to the high school by 2:00. He hasn't even graduated high school
Yeah.
yet. This is not what we should be doing. And that's why, and I think you taking this tragic event of this innocent child and turning it into something positive, that's the best thing you can do.
I tried the other way, and it didn't work out so well.
Right.
And once I realized, okay, well, that's not going to help, it had to go somewhere.
Right.
Because no matter what, any situation, first responders or humans, you have to have somebody to blame.
Oh,
That's just the way it is.
and that's part of grief. That's
And
part of it.
You will, if you can't find somebody to blame, you'll blame yourself.
Right.
I didn't do enough. My compressions weren't deep enough, whatever the case may be. You'll find somebody to blame, and if you
Yep.
can't find somebody, you'll blame yourself.
Right.
That's just the way it is.
Right.
You know what's crazy? If it wasn't for this podcast, and I'm gonna jump back to what I told Sam last weekend, I really do want to do the phase 3 series with the students.
I heard that. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I don't remember if we talked about it on, I guess we did talk
Yeah.
about it on the podcast.
We did, yeah.
We're gonna reiterate here. If you're an EMT, paramedic, fire student in college, or if you're listening and thinking about going into this job, here's what I want you to do. I want you to contact us before you get into school, before you get into any of this, and come and sit and talk with us. We're going to talk about what you think the job is. Once you get into school, I would love you to come back and do a second episode with us so we can talk about how school's going. Has it shaped your mind any more of what you thought it was from the first time we talked to you? And then after that, I want you to go out in the field and I want you to do this job for 3 to 6 months. And then I want you to come back and talk to us again, because I promise you from the first episode to the third one, you will not be the same person.
You're not. And that was one of the things that the kids were talking about. Cosmetic school, I don't know what it does to them. I really don't. And I've lived through it with many of them.
It's like and this isn't a bad thing, it's like a boot camp.
It is, and that's when they just become that. And Dawson,
They're like zombies in that.
well, and Dawson was always just. I remember meeting him one day for coffee at Starbucks, and I didn't even know who I was sitting with.
It like zombifies them while they're in
Yes,
school.
and you know, I can think of, you know, Sydney handled things, but Sid's just, I don't know. Sid is built differently. I admire her for that. I did see differences, and then another person who will remain nameless because I can't say anything other than nice. Completely, it changed him. Dawson was my biggest one that was an impact on how much it changed him. Mm-hmm. And you know, and that's why I think it's important that we do talk about it, and that it's okay for us to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Because as we've said 1,000 times before, because it does lead into really bad behaviors. You know, I did a lot of, at the time it was great self-medicating, and it was only like $13 a 12-pack, 15-pack at Dollar General. But
That's because you drink water.
you know, oh yeah, it's good shit though. But I mean, you know, we're at least bringing it forth and giving healthy ways and ways to identify it and to see what's going on. Because it is, I mean, you can go from, it's just, we're giving healthy ways, and we're going to, because then it can lead to suicide, which talking about it doesn't make it happen. It prevents it.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's
you
the
know,
only thing you can
and-
do.
I do sometimes get frustrated, and I hate to sit around talking with, and I'm going to call us the salty ones or the older ones. Oh yeah, you know, after I get off shift, I'm going to drink a fifth of Jack or blah, blah, blah. Don't brag about that in
That's
front
not a
of the
good thing.
19, 20, because it's not.
And you're promoting bad behavior.
You are. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't do bad behavior, because I did. Because you don't know how to channel it out. You have so many things, like you said, there's just so many, who to blame, the guilt, it overwhelms you.
And what's crazy about it is, you know, the 5 or 7 stages of grief, whichever one you're looking at, you think of that, well, let's say if my father passes, my mother, my sister, my brother. We had those feelings for Jim, the complete stranger.
Yes. Yep.
And that's what makes us a little different. I'm talking, I don't know Tyler's perspective, but you and I, the empathetic people.
Oh, he is too.
Okay.
Yep, he is.
So we got
Basically,
those
we're the
griefs
same mold.
for.
Sorry, I'm checking on my wife. She's on a trip back from Kansas.
No, you're fine. Is it okay if I tell you, I don't know if we're at in the deal, but if I tell you a little bit about what happened after?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that was actually
yes.
our next
Yeah.
question.
Okay. So, you know, we've seen those pictures of the young lady or young man before they started crack, and then 5 years later, they're withered. They just look. That was me, June 16th to June 18th. Not from crack or nothing. I never did drugs, but
Thank you for clarifying.
that was the look I had.
Yes.
Just that weathered, beat down look. And I went through 4 years of looking for answers in the bottom of any bottle I get my hands
Yes.
on.
Yep.
Yep.
If I wasn't on shift, I was drunk and hammered, blackout, because I didn't want to think about it. And it wasn't until I was at my farm, and I decided that was going to be the end of it. I just couldn't keep up anymore.
Yeah.
And I had my Glock. I was going to do the work. And my wife and mother pulled up and stopped me. Had they not pulled up and stopped me, it would have been over. There was no question in my mind. And to segue out of that, looking back at it, to know I was that close terrifies me, because I could get there again. And it absolutely terrifies me. And, you know, whenever you can look somebody in the eyes and say, I know what a pistol tastes like, that's jacked up.
Yeah.
People shouldn't know that.
And that's what some people, I think, are starting to get an idea. That is our way of coping.
Yeah.
You know, because I, in fact, just this last week made a joke about, well, it's either going to, you know, I can taste that in my mouth. I mean, that's just how we cope with it.
Yeah.
But then, you know, like you said, you sit back and you think, but I do know that.
Yeah.
And I just said it out loud. But, you know, we do know that.
Yeah. And after that, I mean, I got pulled over by the cops. It was a whole thing. Didn't go to jail or nothing. Didn't get in any kind of big trouble. They said, look, dude, you need to get home.
Yeah.
You are not okay. Went home, did some soul searching, went to therapy, which was an absolute disaster because she was not culturally competent. And it was just bad. It was all bad. And I didn't know culturally competent. I didn't know what that meant. And I found one that had done my job. Mm-hmm. And they got it. And
Yes.
they clicked.
And we've had this exact discussion here probably 4 or 5 times
Yes.
And it's so important to find somebody that has done the job. Mm-hmm. You know, if you go to a regular therapist, they don't get the job.
No.
You know, I told my first therapist my story about the little girl, and she cried, and I counseled her,
I think Justin.
and I
tells
gave
that
her my
story, too.
$80 and left.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I don't know how that worked. That was weird. Yeah, so anyway, but I kept trying until I found one that worked.
And that is, and I mean, we've had some people on here that are adamant therapy is not their thing, and that's okay.
I'm one of them.
Sure.
But I do think you need to try to give a couple a chance. But sometimes that's not the way it is, and that's why this peer support stuff is
It's huge.
important.
And
Yeah.
we're fixing to jump right into
Yes,
that.
and you know, and I know the mental health fair that where you were, you know, you were there too. Some people say, well, all you guys are doing are sitting around, you know,
Being a bunch of crybabies.
swapping war stories, pissing contests, whatever you want to call it. No, that is healing us.
Right.
You know, because I can, you know, sit down and talk to you, and I'm not trying to compare your drowning of the 2-year-old to my drowning of a 6-year-old. No, we have something in common.
Right. It's
that
commonality.
human connection
Yep.
that we all want. And sometimes it is, I've gotten probably honestly more therapy sitting with all my weird EMS friends and firefighter friends than I have paid somebody $80
Sure.
to listen to.
Well,
Because
if you want to, start paying me.
well,
I'm always good for a
my
check, too.
presence is enough.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay.
But you
It
know,
was worth a shot.
It's right. I mean, maybe we could bill my insurance and see.
I'll see what I can do about that.
Yeah,
We need more
you
sponsors.
do have connections.
Sponsored by Blue Shield Blue Cross. Just kidding, we're not.
But going back to the therapist thing, sorry I'm harping on this, but when I found the therapist that worked for me, she saved my life. Truly and without hesitation. I still see her today. She absolutely saved my life.
Did you tell her? Have you talked to her and told her you were coming to do a podcast?
I think I did. I don't know. I will tell her.
I would like to know a therapist's opinion, an actual licensed professional's opinion on what we're doing here.
Well, Sheila, I mean,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
right.
I have told her that I did tell her about the podcast and that you guys are getting the word out, and she was very supportive.
Fantastic.
If you don't know something's hot, you don't know not to touch it. If you know something's hot, you don't touch it. That's what this is getting the word out that, hey, this is hot, be careful. You know, and that goes into like my son. My 13-year-old son wants to be a fireman. And as much pride as that gives me for the next generation hoorah stuff, it terrifies me because I know what it did to me.
Yep.
Right.
It tore my guts out. And my wife is not against it, but not for it. She's just unsure. I said, look, I'm going to give him the down and dirty.
Yep.
I'm going to tell him exactly what I went through, verbatim. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, pull any punches. He's going to know his dad was a drunk. He's going to know his dad did all these bad things. He's going to listen to this podcast and know everything. I want him to go into the fire service eyes wide open. And I look at that as not just my son doing this, which is first and foremost, but when I teach people, I want them to have eyes wide open. I don't want to, because whenever we went through firefighter 1 and 2 and all our training, not once did anybody say, hey, this job will jack up your brain.
You're going to be mentally fucked up by the time
Right,
you're done
and
with
Nobody ever
this.
said that.
No.
It's
and
not in the book. I looked.
Right.
There is nothing wrong with doing a clinical and it turns out in whatever way, shape, or form, and you realize it's not for you.
Nothing wrong
This
with
job
that.
is not made
No.
for everybody.
And we've had people
At all.
We've had people come back from a call and say, "Hey, so I really enjoy cooking burgers, so I'm gonna go do
Yep.
that." And there's nothing
Absolutely.
wrong with that.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Because it isn't made for everybody. And I know for me, and we've talked about this, I struggle socially with people because, I mean, you know, as a teacher, I could sit down in the teacher's lounge and you talk shop no matter what job you do. But I mean, I had a good social group for the most part. Now, I can't be sitting in the middle of somewhere and talk about something or that's EMS related or weird, dark humor because they're like, fuck is wrong with her?
I don't have really any friends outside the fire service.
That's our conversation we've had, isn't it? That
We just had-
about
yep.
48 hours ago we had
Yep.
this conversation.
Yep, I called Lucky at
Actually-
what, 9 o'clock at night?
Well, I think on my way over here we talked
we
about
had,
it
yep,
too.
yep,
Honestly,
we did. Yep. Lockie and I have had quite a few conversations this week, and any of it was hard to do with this podcast. So I really appreciate Lockie's support this weekend for sure. But I do want to get into, now that we're kind of crossing over into the peer support, I want to get into your FRSST. After this segment, we're going to take a commercial break and hear a word from our awesome sponsors. But I want to learn how this was built and why it was built and what you guys truly do. So the experience that you had with the drowning of the child, the 2-year-old, that experience helped lead into supporting first responders' mental health. How did that transition happen? Can you tell us about Pulaski County FRSST, how it got started, and the mission and the work that you guys do?
Yeah, of course. So after my 4 years of hell, which is what I fondly named it, I had to turn that energy somewhere. And I heard about on Facebook that Lake Area had started Lake Area First, FRSST, and I thought, okay, that's something I need to be a part of. So I contacted Chief Odenwald and said, hey, how do I do this? Come to a meeting. Okay, so I showed to the meeting and said, I want to get this back home. We need it. It's desperately needed. How do I do that? And he basically handed me a binder and said, this is everything we have. Take it. Go with God. And support us. That's our sister organization. Support us throughout. Gave us everything we needed to start this. And at that time, it was just me. But unbeknownst to me, a lady named Lara Page had also contacted him and was wanting to know more about how to start it. And she's a retired medic from Iowa that landed here. I don't know how she landed here, but she landed here. Or in Crocker, or in Waynesville. But she was also interested in it. I got in contact with her, and it basically grew out of our control, which is awesome. And it kind of a Cinderella story almost, because it went from me separately having this idea and finding somebody to help me with it, and her separately having an idea. And we got together and built it from the ground up with the help of Lake Area. And that's how First became Pulaski County First. It's a really cut and dry story, but what happened was once we had the guts to talk about it, essentially, people came out of the frickin' woodwork.
That's great.
I mean, we have 18 members now.
Wow.
And these are folks that I'd either never met or never thought they'd be interested in it. And they were. And we have an awesome group of people. You know, we're Pulaski County First, but we'll go anywhere. If we can get there in a car, we'll go there and help you. Help a first responder, because we are for first responders. You know, the general public has their own support systems. And for years, first responders had nothing. We had absolutely nothing. And so we've been to Eminence a few times. We've been all over Pulaski, to Lake Area, all over the place. Anywhere we need to go, we will go. And it just boils down, for me, I don't want to ever see you go through what I went through. Because I should have lost my family. Why they stayed is beyond me. I should have lost them.
and it's Michael, right, with Break the Stigma.
Yes, Michael.
He says the same thing.
Yeah, I met Michael at the
Yeah, he's
seminar.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a great dude.
Yeah.
We're actually
he
going to do
is.
a crossover with him hopefully here soon. I got to get back in contact with him.
But yeah, I absolutely should have lost my family. They stuck with me. And my wife gave me a quote, because at that time I was really arm's length.
Yeah.
I'll tell you some, but not much of anything. And she said, she gave me the quote, it was her quote, if you're not open with your family, you're open to losing them.
Yep.
And that hit me like a ton of bricks. And now I tell my family, I don't tell them the gory details. You know, nobody wants to hear about the brain matter on the highway. But like, hey, that was a crap day. I worked a pediatric call that kicked me in the teeth. And I'm a little more open with them so they understand that if dad's having a bad day or husband's having a bad day, maybe there's a reason for it. You know, that's not just dad being a jerk, that he's got some stuff on his mind. And I know it's kind of getting away from the subject of what you guys asked, sorry, but that openness and being honest is what created FIRST.
So now, do you guys keep track of, I mean, obviously in your county, you know when there is a call. Do you reach out, or do you reach out more often, or do you just have people reaching out to you? Do you know what I mean?
It's kind of a both ways. We'll reach out, we don't self-dispatch, but if I know that, let's say I get back home and I hear that you're working tomorrow and you had a rough call. I may call and say, hey, Lockie, I heard you had a rough call. You good? Just a quick check-in.
And that's all it takes. That's one thing that we try to stress, that that's all it takes. Notice different behaviors.
Right.
And you know, one of the things I caught on to out there at that 1033 Foundation thing was, if somebody says, how are you? I'm fine. I think it's feelings I never express.
Or
Oh man, that's good.
I think that's what that means. I think that's what
I'm
it
so
is.
sad I missed that seminar.
It was good.
that,
It
that's,
really was.
I've never heard that one.
I think
Feelings-
that's what it's Whitney, and she's probably one we need to have on here as well. But I think that's what it stands for. Feelings I never express.
I like that far better than mine. Mine is fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
No, I like that one personally.
I mean, that would
Just-
work. I stole it
yeah.
from a movie, but
Yeah.
it
That one's
works.
cool.
Yeah. Well, because sometimes it is hard, and that's where I struggled. If I don't know how I feel, how can I tell you how I
Right.
feel? You know, okay, am I angry? Am I just, with my age, am I just being perimenopausal? And you and I talked about this, Bartons tend to become very irrational
Very quickly.
very quickly, and I will let my mouth overload my ass.
Yes.
And once it's out, there's no apologizing because
Yep.
it's already been spoken into the universe. But it's a struggle to, and that's why I love when I leave House One, or if I was working at, you know, wherever at one of our other houses, I had my window time. I could either roll down the windows and listen to music, but I had that moment to kind of decompress before I entered the house.
Yeah. And some folks don't have that.
No, they don't.
And a lot of times, whenever somebody calls us to help them, or we check in on them, whichever way it goes, sometimes we tell, or not sometimes, we tell them, tell us a story.
Yeah.
Tell me the scene, set me up, tell me everything. And sometimes just blurting out everything that happened is enough. Sometimes.
Well,
Rarely, but
and
sometimes.
I think too that because that was one thing that, and I'm going to keep talking about this 1033 Foundation. He said that's what is nice. If all three of us ran a call, it's our senses. You may bring up the fact that you heard, you know, law securing the scene, but I smell the blood mixed in with the alcohol. You see, you know, whatever, and everybody's able to bring it all into one story, and almost, I guess, validate.
Yeah.
I'm a big thing on validating because personally, I have felt like, which we talked about this, so many times, empathetic people are not validated
Yes.
because you're being a baby,
Yep.
you're being a tit bag.
Those were my exact words when I called you the other night.
Yes.
You're just be a
And-
softie, yada, yada. Yep.
And, you know, and I try to, even though, and I mean, I would tell you, Tyler, you're being a tit bag. You know I would do
I know
that.
you would.
But
And why do you think I called you?
I think it's important because that is how you are feeling. It may not be the way I feel, or I think you should feel that way, but that you're expressing how you feel, and I should
Yes.
validate that. So when people call, do you meet them somewhere? Do you all have come in, we're going to debrief here?
Set
How
the
do you-
scene up for
yeah.
us.
So let's say we've had a bad call. I contact you. Joe, we need you to bring your team in because we've had fatality fire.
Sure. So up here in Big River or what's
This,
the name
well,
of your,
here would be Farmington. It's St. Francis County, but I mean, we have what? Oh, God, I can't even begin to name all of our departments.
we'll just use Farmington.
Okay.
You guys called us and said, hey, we've had this fatality fire. A lot of our guys are tore up. Our dispatchers are tore up. Our medics are having problems. Everybody's having problems. We would look for a place up here, whether it be a community center, someplace quiet with no radios to where there's no distractions. And we'd bring snacks and drinks, all the fun stuff. And we'd have, I'll tell you the whole scenario. We'd have everybody, smoke your cigarette now, go to the restroom now, because once we're in the room, we're in the room. And, you two and two medics and a dispatcher, whatever, would come in. We'd sit in a big circle with no tables in front of us that I can read your body language.
Yep.
If you're doing one of these, I need to get you to here, is what we try to do. Try to open you up and not make you vulnerable, but allow you to be vulnerable. And we set it up to where everybody feels comfortable. And it's completely confidential.
That's the key.
Cannot make that more clear.
Yes.
Confidentiality.
What happens if we had one in this room? It stays in these walls. Period. End of story.
Yep.
But anyway, the only thing that we have to break confidentiality for is suicide. If you say you're
Right.
going to kill yourself, I have to tell people.
Yep.
Get the right people involved. Or if you're going to kill somebody else or hurt somebody else, I have to get the right people. Otherwise, it's all. If you say, yeah, I went to work the other day and halfway through the day I had a beer, I'm not going to tell anybody. It's just confidential, as long as you didn't do anything stupid. But yeah, and then we let them tell the story from their point of view. Like you were just describing, you heard the cop doing this, Tyler heard the medic do this, or I did CPR, or whatever the case may be, and just let you get off your chest, and then we'll ask you, what do you remember about it? What's a key thought that you remember? And a lot of times it's eyes.
Yes.
Everybody remembers eyes.
Yeah.
Or different mannerisms or ages or color of hair or whatever the case may be, and just let you tell your story. Let you feel validated that this was my point of view and this is why it sucks. And a lot of times, sometimes that's enough.
And I think too, being able to tell that story, because we get in our own heads, and that, well, did I do everything the right way? Or you get another story in your head, and then that's another way that you can hear other people talk about it and validate. Okay, that was just me in my head, or
Right.
that was And once again, it's not causing anything, it's preventing.
Right.
That's what
Yes.
we're doing. It's
Right.
not to sit in there and brag about, oh yeah, I did this or whatever. It is just that talking about it, getting
Yes.
it out, and not keeping it in, and not letting it build up to the point where you're on medical leave, you get a 96-hour hold, or God forbid you hang yourself out in the barn.
Right.
That's what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. And like
And
I
I'm not to interrupt you,
No,
I'm
you're
sorry,
fine.
because I think it's important that, because we do have professionals, because I don't know what I would have done without Sheila.
Yes.
And of course, I'm lucky enough to have her as a professional, but she also does the job. It's easier for us to talk to each other.
Yeah.
We love the professionals. When they're needed, we'll get you.
Sure.
But we need us. And that's why it's important that brotherhood, we stay confidential. We take care of each other.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we start with peer support.
Yes.
Because
That's good to know.
That may be all it needs.
So do you include like the hospital staff? Because I think that's something that I was not, I try to think big picture too. That's probably one of my problems. But you do have law enforcement, you have EMS, you have fire, you have the coroner,
Yeah.
you have the hospital staff. And it might even be that little gal that comes down to x-ray the body. Do you include everyone?
We don't have any hospitals in our area.
Okay.
Or we would.
Okay.
So-
let me run this one by. I had a guy at work the other day. He's infatuated with the fire service. He asked me that. He goes, "We just had the captain up in Wentzville. He just passed away, and it was all over TV and all that." He asked me. He goes, "Man," he goes, "I'm really struggling with a question, and you're the only one I know that I can ask this that might know the answer." Go ahead. He goes, why is it when a fireman, paramedic, police officer, veteran, why is it when they die they get a funeral, but doctors, surgeons, nurses, coroners, anybody else you can throw out there, why is it they don't get recognized like that? And I said, Craig, I can't tell you, buddy.
No.
I got nothing.
And that question, it broke my heart and stomped the shit out of me.
Yeah. And I almost think that the next level that I would like to see with this peer support are the families, because I don't have a spouse, but some of the spouses or their kids, they aren't doing this job.
And we are working into, we're still young, we're only a year and a half old. So we are working into, I shouldn't say auxiliary, but branching out to the families. We just haven't got there yet.
And I mean,
in our group.
But I will have to say I am blessed because I do have my daughter and my son. And at one point I was married to a dispatcher. So, but that consumed all of our conversation
Yes.
at times because we didn't have anything else to talk about. And we kind of, Brett and Sydney and I I always know, because I won't hear from Brett for 48 hours. I won't hear from him. But I know if he calls, he's been on a bad call.
Yep.
And he might not give me details. It's just, I just got back from a call. I know
That's
exactly what that
keywords.
means.
Yep.
I don't have to, well, how are you doing, bud? You know, that's all I have to say. If he talks about it, he does. If he doesn't, that's fine. Sydney's the same way. You know, she will call and tell me. Well, and I shared that call with you, and I think she shared that call about that baby. I don't remember, because she went through paramedic school during the 2020 invasion. We won't say the word because we'll get flagged.
Well, thank you for saving me some work.
So she didn't get to do her OB clinicals, but she has delivered probably more babies than a seasoned paramedic has their entire 30-year career.
I would love to deliver a baby.
Well,
Go hang out with Sydney. She'll help you.
she'll get you
Yeah.
one. I've always said when I deliver a baby, and I was so close one night. I said, when I do, I'm out. I'm retiring. I'll be a greeter at Walmart. But, you know, I don't even know so she called, and, you know, I knew she just needed to talk.
Yep.
And I listened, which is hard. That's one of my things I've had to learn is to listen, because I want to say, it's okay. You know, I want to start the comforting immediately.
Right.
And so that's been my hardest thing to do. And I think I've gotten better at it.
Is to just shut up and let him talk.
Yeah.
Now,
To work it through.
And I do the same thing. I want to coddle you.
I do too.
But it's a fight to not.
And I'm also to the point now, I mean, I will say that's okay to feel that way.
Yeah.
It sure is. Or,
I heard that today.
yeah, I mean, it is. It is okay. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to express it. And in fact, I asked you, if you remember right, I said, now, are you being irrational?
Yeah.
Are you being rational in your thoughts?
Yep. That was one of the first things you said, actually.
Yes.
Now, when I called you the other night, did you have any idea what it was for?
No.
No?
No, because I honestly thought it was going to be something podcast-wise.
Nope.
So,
I was wondering if you pick up on it quickly.
but, well, I mean, immediately I
Yeah.
did. But when I saw Tyler Barton on my phone, I was thinking, yep, because I couldn't remember if we were recording on Saturday or Sunday. So I thought, I bet that little shit's reminding me, because he knows I'm in the early stages of dementia, to be there on Saturday. And
Nope.
but the minute you started talking, I could tell in the tone of your voice that it was not the podcast we were talking about.
Nope. It was something different.
And that is, you know, and that is one thing that I do I hate to say that I hate about myself, but I'm real big about body language, your tone of voice. I mean, I pick up on it immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
So, Joe, I do want to ask you, because this is a conversation we've had amongst ourselves. I've had it with the district leader, Lockie's boss, when he came on the podcast. Since you have started FRSST, have you seen a shift in how departments are starting to handle things with their mental health and conversations in your area?
Absolutely. It has been widely accepted. My administration have been nothing but the best. At the end of that 4 years, I walked off the job. I walked off something I love, and I wasn't coming back. And my boss said, hey, hold on. We're putting you on work comp, and we're going to get you help.
Wow.
Yeah, that was huge.
I didn't know you could get work comp for that.
You can.
That's incredible.
And I was gone for 2 months, and they worked with me, got me back. And that's the kind of administration we have. And the
Well, I'm
administration.
glad you did.
Yeah, and the administration in our area, the other small town volunteer departments are on the same boat. They've been incredibly receptive.
Because I didn't get that. In fact, I didn't even get a phone call from the administrator. Dawson, I neither one did, because he didn't know that we were on the call. And the paramedic that worked that, and some of this was kind of wrapped in emotions, but it was Memorial Weekend, and Monday was a holiday, and you would be docked pay if you didn't show up.
Wow.
Oh,
I mean, Dawson was a prick to get us and I love you, Dawson. I'm not down. It had not been for Dawson and Sheila, we would have never gotten the, what do you call that? I always struggle with that word, where we sit and talk about it, and we included the highway
AAR?
patrol,
Like the intervention?
the D word,
diffusing, debriefing.
debriefing.
Debriefing,
I
yes.
never can get that word.
I
Did I
couldn't
get this
say it
last
earlier.
week? Yeah. We wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was and there was never, how are you doing? How do you feel about this? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, no, immediately after the call, there was nothing. This after 4 years that it came to a head.
Yeah.
Whenever they were like, oh, wait a minute. One of our salty guys is hurting. Okay, this is serious. This is something we need to handle.
And that was probably your first time in your career that you were glad you were made an example of.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
usually the times I've been made an example,
It's not good.
I was not displaying good behavior.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that I think that what we're doing and the peer stuff, it is, and it doesn't need to be the blood and guts and glory calls. It can be simply, I know I've had the kids come in and say, we've had one of our frequent flyers that Sydney and I had the lovely experience of dealing with her with all of our ambulance districts that we worked for, and different nursing homes where she was. That was devastating. It isn't always just
It can be cumulative.
yes. And what people don't realize, it's that you run a call 43 and 48 hours. You run a call. I know Sid said the other day, we were barely restocked, and I was running this call. And I was coming back into county, and I wasn't restocked. And nobody understands that you never get a chance to decompress this.
No, for 48 hours, you're on the edge of your seat.
You are.
Yep. You're in fight or flight for 48 straight
Yes.
hours.
The way I like to reference it is you have a filing cabinet in your head. Mm-hmm. You run that call, you file it. It's like when you're doing paperwork, you stack it neatly,
Yep.
crisscross, and then you file it all later.
Yeah. Yep.
And I know, talking about the senses, I've been out places and I'm like I can smell something. I'm like, what is that? That reminds me of something. It's always with us. It's always filed
Yep.
back there. And I didn't understand the effects that your nervous system has until I have experienced some of,
Yeah.
and a lot of self-reflection. I'm still working on it, but I have broken myself down to the ugliest parts of myself.
Yeah. Well, for example, talking about senses, after that terrible call, I couldn't go to the pool. I couldn't smell chlorine because that's what she smelled like.
Yep.
And my wife would plan a pool party for my twins' birthday. We'd get there and it'd be fun. One of them up to me and hug me. Honey, I gotta go.
Yep.
I'm out.
Yep.
And there was no way I could stay there. I would lose my mind. And those triggers can jump up and kick you in the butt.
Well, and they can kick you in the butt 6 hours after the fact or 6 years after the
Yep.
fact. That's
even now
grief. What is that? Grief is not linear, or healing isn't
Right,
linear,
linear.
or whatever. It is. And I'll think is something that happened, like you said, 4 years ago. And I think, why is this? Why
Yeah.
is this being triggered? Why? And I know we overuse our vocabulary sometimes with validating and triggering and PTSD. I know we overuse those or whatever, but I don't know any other way to explain it.
Right.
You know what amazes me about you? The fact that you ran that call and you're still able to go sit in the river.
Okay. I'm glad if Melody ever told this story. Of course, this was not long after the fact, and I was so shit-faced. I don't even remember most of the day being down in the river. And now mind you, I was in maybe ankle deep water. I started flipping shit. I'm going to drown. And if I cross water to this day, and Cedar Creek is my place I go and I sit, and talking about it, like I can't breathe. And it scares me. And so I do have those triggers, but yet I know when I go down to Hunter's Spot,
It's calming.
it's calming to be one of the most painful, even though I wasn't there, I know what happened there. But it brings me peace. I always place my hand in the water, but water to me is calming, but yet it's also one of my biggest demons, because I was always a water kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned to swim. My mom and dad, we had a pool. We were literally thrown in. I love water. Water is just my comforting, but it's also one of my biggest demons.
Yep.
And so, you know, it's so weird how that piece can also be, and you know, there's probably things you really loved that now you don't
Right.
because
Yep.
of a call, or it just brings that up.
And when you work in the same community you live in, you drive by that corner.
Yep.
Like, oh, that's where that guy did this, or this guy died here, this guy died there, and there's always reminders everywhere.
Yeah, especially like small town, because the town I ran calls in was 300 people, and you know what Billy Bob's doing next door at all times.
Right.
And you know, well, Meemaw I just picked up that guy's Meemaw. It's just
Yeah.
Well, or the address comes across on the active, and you're like waiting because you know, is it going to be the male or is it going to be the female?
Yep.
Or
Right.
I mean,
Yep.
you literally, and I'm sure, and I don't care. I'm sure there are people that find me extremely annoying. I annoy myself sometimes. I look at and I'm like, you're so fucking annoying. But I love this job. Everybody knows, and I'm not doing it to, oh, I'm an EMT. I don't want anybody to know that when I'm out in public. But
Yeah.
I love my job. And I do get it's an honor. It is a privilege to be with another human being at the best day of their life or the worst day of their life. And people don't get that. I don't tell this story for them to be like, and I'm not going to lie. And did you use some of this as an excuse for your bad behavior?
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah, and now I look back on it and I think you were disgusting
Horrible human.
for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can remember, and Doug Anderson, God love him, one night I was just going to go and have a couple of beers, which led to a lot more than that. He drove me around, and I was the most disgusting, blubbering, woe is me pity party. And I let that be my, I do
Identity.
something stupid. And yeah, that was my identity. And that's why I know people probably get sick of me talking and sharing this story. But if I can, because on the surface, a lot of people see me as being a very strong, and I am strong-willed, strong-minded female. But if they only knew me, this is why I do it. Because if I can get to the point that I don't want to live life and share it, and I can save someone else, because I look like a person that has my shit together. I don't.
Right, me neither.
And I'm not doing this for any type of attention, recognition, although I did say if I die in the next 5 years, I want a big EMS funeral. But I want to save people. That's all I want. And if it means being made fun of by organizations who should be supporting their employees, I really don't. Fuck off, you know?
hell, we get made fun of.
That's right. And I love my job. I feel like I'm doing God's work here on earth. And that's all I care about. And if you want to make fun of me about it, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Because I've met a lot of amazing people that I know I always struggle to feel like I fit in.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I've acquired a new friend today.
Sure, absolutely.
A
Me too.
resource.
Yes, a resource, a friend, a person that I really truly feel like it could be my Tyler of calling you and say, you know, hey, I'm struggling, man. This is what happened. And I would have
sometimes that
somebody-
arm's reach friend is the best.
Yep.
Yep.
Because although we know each other, we don't know each other.
Right.
And that arm's reach friend of saying, hey, man, this sucked balls and this is why.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, tell me the story. What we got going?
Well, and I think that kind of brings up the fact that I always feel like we are humans. We all do judge. I don't care. And
Sure.
if you say you don't judge, you're a liar.
Right.
But I truly know in my heart, I do not judge that. I'm not going to judge you by what you've done.
No.
And that's how I am with the people that I treat. At any point, that could have been me.
Easily.
I could have been addicted to meth, to pain pills. That could be me. It could be
the
me
junkie.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the simple thing of it.
And treating everybody with respect.
Yes.
And I think we're going to kind of get into that when we get into our family balance and some other challenges that's come along with this job. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Hear a word from our fantastic sponsors, Fire Lake Winery, Frontline Armory, Fire Lake Winery, Frontline Armory, Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen, if I could talk today. We're going to hear an awesome word from them. Cannot thank them enough for everything they do for us. We're going to go to commercial break, and we'll be right back. Hey guys, Tyler here, Midwest Mayhem Podcast. If you're looking for a trusted local firearms dealer with real knowledge and real service, check out Frontline Armory, a veteran-owned and operated business located right here in Farmington, Missouri. Frontline Armory offers a wide selection of firearms, suppressors, ammunition, holsters, optics, tactical gear, and quality firearm accessories, all with a strong focus on education, safety, and responsible ownership. Whether you're a first-time buyer, an experienced owner, or someone interested in learning more about suppression and the process involved, their knowledgeable team takes the time to answer questions and walk you through your operation. No pressure, no gimmicks. You can find Frontline Armory at 201 West Karsh Boulevard, Unit B in Farmington, or give them a call at 573-463-6262. You can also learn more by visiting them at thefrontlinearmory.com or follow Frontline Armory on Facebook to stay up to date on inventory and announcements. And when you stop in, go see my friends Nathan and Craig and tell them Midwest Mayhem sent you. The Frontline Armory, veteran-owned, community-focused, and proud to serve Southeast Missouri. Hey Mayhem Militia, it's your host Tyler here from Midwest Mayhem Podcast. Looking for the perfect place to unwind, relax, and get away from every day? You've got to check out Fire Lake Winery. Located at 12902 East State Highway 47 in Cadet, Fire Lake Winery sits on a beautiful 20-acre property, offering incredible views, a laid-back atmosphere, and an experience you won't find anywhere else around here. Whether you're enjoying a glass of handcrafted wine by the lake, relaxing on the patio, or meeting up with friends, they've got indoor, outdoor, and lakeside seating to match whatever vibe you're looking for. And on the weekends, you can catch live music, events, and entertainment that make it the perfect spot to kick back and enjoy your night. Hungry? They've got a full kitchen, so you can grab great food while you're there, and be sure to check out their menu at firelakewinery.com before you go. Planning something bigger? Fire Lake Winery also hosts weddings, parties, and private events, creating the perfect setting for unforgettable moments. Give them a call at 573-436-2103, or check them out online at firelakewinery.com to see upcoming events and plan your visit. We're proud to have Fire Lake Winery here on Midwest Mayhem Podcast as a Voices of Valor sponsor. So next time you're looking for something to do, grab your crew, head out to Fire Lake Winery, and tell them Midwest Mayhem sent you. Fire Lake Winery, your escape from the ordinary. Get fired up. Attention Potosi, there's a new mission in town. Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen. This veteran-owned coffee shop isn't just about caffeine, it's about community. From rich espressos to hearty meals, every order fuels a story. Yours, ours, and the heroes we honor every day. Step inside and you'll find more than just a cup of coffee. You'll find a place where veterans, first responders, and locals come together shoulder to shoulder. So whether you're starting your morning patrol, catching up with friends, or needing that midday refuel, Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen has you covered. Located at 205 East High Street in Potosi, Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen, where service never sleeps and every cup counts. And we are back from our commercial break here on the podcast. We were sitting here with Joe, and what is your last name? I can't pronounce it today. I don't know why. What's your last name?
Wilkes.
Wilkes. I can't.
Think of-
John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah,
I don't know why I
that's
forget
exactly
that.
what I was going to say.
I'm having a stroke today, I think. Anywho, we're back from our commercial break. We're sitting here with guest number 17 on Voices of Valor, Joe Wilkes. And he's been a great guest so far. He drove 2.5 hours to get here. If you're just now tuning into this episode from Fort Leonard Wood.
A little town called Crocker near Fort Leonard
Crocker.
Wood. Yeah.
There we go. I'm so forgetful today. I don't know what my problem is. But great guest, great guy. We've learned so much about him. We've never met him until today, but I feel like I've known him for 20 years now? How about you, Augie?
Yep, absolutely.
So you just heard from our awesome sponsors, Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen, Fire Lake Winery, Frontline Armory. Love these guys so much. They are so awesome and so great to work with. Cannot thank them enough. So, Joe, I want to get back into your story and some of the things that we have learned about you so far. we're going to get into a little bit of how you balance your family and your 4 kids with your wife and how you balance it in the fire service. So you've been married for 20 years and have 4 kids. You've been married almost as long as you've been in the fire service. How has your family supported you through this career?
At the beginning, I didn't let them support me. I kept it at arm's length when it came to the fire service, and just didn't let them in. And that was a huge mistake. I should have let them in, should have shared with them what I was going through, but I didn't. And now that I have, it's a totally different ballgame. You know, my kids can read me, and they just know what's going on. And if I tell them, hey, it was rough, my daughter will give me a hug for no reason. Stuff like that. And those little things can carry you through a lot of bad times. So yeah, they support me now that I let them.
That's fantastic. So how has being a husband and a father shaped the way you've approached the job for so long?
Well, before I had children, it was in the fire service. Death was death, and it still is, but I treat it differently. And now whenever I see a mother or a wife who just lost her husband, it hits me different.
Yeah.
Because that could be me. Or that could be, me losing my wife or my wife losing me, and it just hits you differently. And I approach it now, not with kit gloves, but with the respect it deserves. So it's changed dramatically how I view people when I'm on the job.
And I think we've had a couple of our guests say that, it does change you, especially the young ladies we've had that once they become a mother, that it's kind of a little bit different. You can actually put yourself in their shoes.
From a different aspect.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. That sometimes I think we fail to do that sometimes, to put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Yeah.
And I think obviously doing this job, as we just kind of talked about in this segment before, you do have to put yourself in other people's shoes, because at any point it could be you.
Absolutely. And whether it's the I'm gonna use the word junkie that's overdosing, or it's the 80-year-old that's on hospice, or the little lady has her cat stuck in a tree. That's the worst day of their life.
Yep.
Treat
It's
it with
their
the respect-
emergency.
Treat it with the respect it deserves.
Yes.
Now, with that, how do you manage to balance keeping that outlook with family and the demands of the fire service? How do you keep that balanced out and just keep the peace? And what helps you disconnect and be present at home with having that attitude? Because that carries a lot, having that outlook. Not all firemen have that. I'll be the first one to tell you that. There's a lot of firemen that don't have that outlook of just keeping it going.
Well, I heard a story about a plumber, and he would come home, and before he went inside, he'd rub his fingers on a leaf of a tree right by his door. And for years, his wife said, what are you doing? After a while, she got curious. He goes, I'm leaving my worries right here. And before I go in my house, anything that happened on the job, that's where it's staying. That's something I've had to develop and learn, and I wish I would have learned it 20 years ago, that I don't have to carry it with me all the time. When I'm at home, be at home. And
Be present.
Be present. Be there. And that's something I've had to learn the hard way. And if I can help somebody learn that the easy way, and they'll listen, I hope they'll take that away. If they take nothing else away from me, take that.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, and that's where the therapy, you don't have to necessarily sit and talk to somebody, but that's how, I literally, and the neighbors, which one of them is my son, and he already knows that I have a few pieces of paper that qualify me as crazy, but I go out and ground. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, I go out barefooted.
And rub your feet in the grass. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lady at work does the same thing.
And I have found more peace in that than really I have. Sometimes I just don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I just want to reconnect and slow my nervous system down. And that's what I do.
Yeah. And teaching to me is an outlet. To teach people anything, but especially about mental health and how to take care of it. Danny and I are building a class. Hopefully we'll get into winter fire school. So it's kind of a big deal. And we're just teaching people how to deal with the job. And so the job doesn't deal with you.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
That is a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard it
No,
like
but that's
I came up with it just now. So
awesome.
That was pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's chilling.
that was
honestly.
pretty cool.
So, over 21 years, what has been one of the toughest challenges you have faced in the fire service? Because, I mean, 21 years, that's a lot of time. What is that, 2005?
2005.
2005?
Yeah. There's been so many different challenges, from the calls, of course, to be on a bad crew.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
That's a whole nother ball game. Leadership being off. There's just been so much that you could walk away from it, but that brotherhood keeps you coming back and keeps you. That's what's kept me stuck in the game through all the bad times and the rare wins. Whenever you do get them back, you hold on to that. I've only had one save in 21 years, but that one save will carry me for years.
Yes. Well, and that not to toot somebody else's horn, but I think it needs to be. There is a crew at the ambulance district. I think they had 2 clinical saves, like within the month, and that is like you just
That's
said.
impressive.
Yeah, and it's really neat because one of them is Maria, and she's a newer EMT, and then I know Allie was, I guess, the dispatching side of it. But yeah, I mean that's just not heard of, and I love when districts recognize that and recognize the crews or whatever, because it is a very, I mean, unless you take ALS, CPR, that we save everybody. They're right back to work within 3 or 4 days of cardiac arrest. So it is, that is a very a rare thing. So for people to recognize that it is a good thing.
That's something really cool our administration does. They have an awards banquet at the end of every year.
Yeah.
And they recognize saves. They recognize all that stuff and, pictures and all that stuff. And they really do a good job of helping us celebrate those wins.
Right.
So they do a great job on that.
And Wasco does that too. I know this past December, Lockie got an award for MIH, and they do a lot of great things over there.
Well, and we recognize the even like our times, because majority of our calls are time sensitive, and we activate STEMI or activate stroke. And I mean not to toot my own horn, but there was Marilyn and I. We were recognized for out the chute in our time for a code stroke with the hospital. I mean, and they were the ones who recognize, appreciate us. And it is nice because it's so easy to fall into that. Well, we had intubations, this many intubations and so many, to celebrate our
Right.
positives.
Yeah.
Once again, it's that what you surround yourself
Because
with.
they could very easily say, you're just doing your job.
Yeah. Yep.
Very easily they could say that. And, now it's coming back around that we need the attaboys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's just the way it is.
Yes.
So what's something you've learned about yourself through this career? I mean, 21 years, you have a lot of time to sit and reflect on who you are, what has shaped you. What have you learned about yourself?
I've learned that I'm strong and weak all at the same time.
Wow.
Because for years, I recognized myself as being the strongest guy there. Mentally, I was solid as a rock until I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I recognized that, like I was talking about earlier, you can fall quickly and fall into a spiral that you can't get yourself out of. And it takes strength to get yourself out of it. So you can be strong and weak all at the same time. And that's what I've learned about myself, is that I can wear 2 hats.
Is that what keeps you going on the hard days?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, those hard days, whether it be calls or just a crap shift, or you got into a fight with my wife before we went on shift, whatever the case may be, is those wins. Those good times that you can remember. That's what you have to hold on to keep you going.
And I think it's neat when you recognize those bad days start becoming few and far between.
Yep.
Because it is that you have to, and there are times I literally, because living by myself, I talk to myself a lot.
No.
And I'm talking like if you stood outside the kitchen window, you'd probably think I was in there having a conversation with 2 or 3 people. But I have had times I've gotten up in the morning, hit the snooze, go to hit it again, and we'll say, nope, get out of bed,
Yeah.
get up. I will look at myself in the mirror, and sometimes I'm not very nice, and I'll say, listen here, bitch, get it together.
Yeah.
You are badass. You're going to be nice today. It's all a matter of the choices. you can either whine and cry about the cards you were dealt, or you can make the very best out of it. And then I'm not going to say that sometimes I'm not a sad bitch. I will be. But I also am able to say, Lockie, how are you doing? Oh, I'm not good today. I'm not.
Yeah, and be honest.
But the sun's shining and I had the lids out of my Jeep.
Right.
I do, but I'm real quick to get you, and I think we all are, but I will admit it. I'm real quick to jump to the negative.
Absolutely, everybody is.
Because
And
it's
sassy.
easy.
It's an easy step.
Do what?
And sassy.
Yes, and I sometimes, like I said, I get very emotional about stuff, especially stuff I'm very passionate about, and I will let my ass, I'll get overloaded with my mouth. It does happen, and I recognize that, and that's sometimes where I have to evaluate. Are you being irrational? And 99.9% of the time, it's yes. But I mean, do you find yourself? Are you able to recognize now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, how do you handle that when you're recognizing? Okay, I'm headed in a direction. Do you have? I mean, with the group you have, but are you comfortable with just saying, "Hey, I'm not doing well today"?
Absolutely. It doesn't bother me one iota. If I go to my crew and say, "Hey guys, I'm in a real bad place. I don't know what's going on." Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about it. And they know that I'm free to talk about it with them if they're having a rough time. And it's just being able to be honest with yourself is huge.
So, and you don't have to answer this because it is a very personal thing. Are you medicated?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Have been for many years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So prior to this, did you have prior struggles with mental health? Now that you know that you struggled with
I
mental
had
health?
some, nothing terrible, just like anybody else does. And then this just, made it worse.
Intensified it,
Yeah,
yeah.
intensified it. And it's like you're talking about having a bad day or bad time. We all heard people say, yeah, your cup gets full, you have to empty it. Well, I kind of changed that a little bit in that if you pour water in that cup right now, eventually it's going to overfill and it's going to go over the table. Well, if you let your mental health cup overfill, it's going to get over your life.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's going to pour onto everything. Every
And it
decision
does,
you
yeah.
make will be based on woe is me. So if you don't empty that cup every once in a while, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So
And it does. It affects everything.
everything.
Damn, that cuts deep. That's like spilling the ink on freshly white paper.
Yeah, it'll get on everything.
Well, what I love is how they talk about sleep is the most important thing for first responders. But
What
yet
is
we
that?
run 43 calls in 48 hours.
Yeah.
It's just, it blows. I will have to say, though, that organization, they're real good about if somebody is tired, as long as I've gone in and ran a transfer up to Mercy Jeff because the crew was tired. So I think that's another thing that we're bringing light to, that we are tired.
Yeah, like back home, we run a structure at 3 a.m. and get out of bed, go run the structure, get home at 7. Our bosses aren't like, okay, now go, wash hose.
Go train.
They're like, all right, you're down till 1 or you're down the rest of the day. Just
Yeah.
chill. They're good about letting us take care of ourselves.
And that right there is where it starts. Good leadership.
Yep.
Positive leadership. Leadership that has been in there, done the job, didn't forget where they came from. Leadership that can pull their head out of their ass and allow you to still be the human and do the job that you need
Yep.
to do.
Because at the end of the day, we're all human.
Yes. And when a lot of times, a lot of white hats, chief officers, CEOs, whatever you want to be, forget that.
Yeah.
They forget where they come from. They forget that they were ever in the same position that you're in. They don't care. All you are is a statistic to them, and they want a job done, and they want it done a certain way. They don't care what it takes to get it done. And that's in all of life. That's not just the first responder
Right.
world.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we're getting better too to say, hey, I am tired, because the mentality has been, I got to go, 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 because people are waiting for me to show up. I'm the one that has to
Right.
show up. Well, you can't. I forgot how many hours it is of lack of sleep and whatever, that your decision making is not good.
I know the statistic you're talking about, and it can be equivalent to being drunk.
Yes.
To drunk driving. Like
Yes.
3 hours of sleep over a 24-hour period and you're driving, you might as well be drunk.
Yes.
It's the same cognitive ability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And-
Because your brain's just, blah.
Yeah.
And you know, and I think about that. We're responsible for another human being's life, but yet that's
Right.
the statistics.
Hey, get in
So-
this ambulance and let me. I haven't
Yeah.
slept in 16 hours, but let me drive you to the hospital.
Well, and I
Yeah.
can remember trips from Iron County to, you know, as far as like Poplar Bluff or up to Barnes or whatever, where I was literally rolling down the windows, chugging a Red Bull, smacking myself in the face to stay awake. And I had 2 other human beings in the back of my ambulance and then their families that would have had to have gotten a phone call.
Or if they follow you to the hospital.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there have been, I can't even tell you how many times that's happened. And when I get tired, when I hit that wall, I'm done.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
crash and I burn. And that was one of the things I didn't, talking about the nervous system and stuff too. I've had a few things go on and I like to nap, but not like, that's not like my thing. Like Sydney loves to nap, which the little bitch didn't when she was a little kid, but she does now, like nobody's business. But that's one of the things that they say is a huge symptom of your nervous system trying to relax is the fact that you need to sleep and you should sleep.
Yeah.
And I took a fat nap yesterday on my sectional. So apparently my nervous system was whacked out a little bit. And I do that now. It took me from going in the classroom because, I mean, I couldn't, if I were tired, I couldn't put my head down on my desk and let 24 kids run the show.
Stab
Right.
each other.
And so when I went to working 24-hour shifts, you know, at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I can't go take a nap. Well, yeah, you better, because this might be the only time you get a
Right.
30-minute nap. And so that was one thing I had to condition myself to, if you have some downtime, use it.
Right.
You know, get everything. I was one that I go in and check the truck, wash the truck, do the chores. And then if there was, you know, I did do the downtime,
Yeah.
but it took me a hard lesson, you
Yeah.
know, to
And
do
if you
that.
get a chance to eat, eat.
Yeah, because I love
Don't
when
miss
people,
that stuff.
right? They'll call. What are you doing? Nothing. Oh yeah, you're probably sleeping. You get paid to sleep. Okay, right. That's exactly
Yeah,
what
that's
I get
all I
paid
do.
to do.
Yeah.
Oh, so you've been doing this for 21 years. I don't know why the number 21 just amazes me, but for some reason your 21-year career has me infatuated. What advice would you give to new firefighters just starting out?
Listen. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Shut up and listen. Don't be there for 6 months and you learn how to put on your PPE and think you know everything about the job.
Boy, am I so glad you just said that.
Just be quiet, listen, pay
And
attention.
learn.
You know, if 2 older dogs are telling a story, pay attention to the story. You might pick up something. Just be quiet and listen. It's so huge.
And I think too, sometimes, although Sam is not an example of this, but I've worked with some younger kids that was the only place they ever worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're usually the first ones to bitch and criticize and go work somewhere else.
Yeah.
Go work in the real world.
And see just, I mean,
How good you
do
have it
I
here.
get aggravated sometimes with the policies, procedures, and whatever? But the organization I work for, they do care about us. And I'm very appreciative, but I've worked at other places. And I think sometimes you got to find out that the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Yeah. You know, we had a captain who always told his wife, or his wife always told him, that he's going to work to play dress up and have a sleepover.
Yeah.
Because we're just a bunch of kids who
It
do a
is,
grown-up
but you know what?
job.
That is fun. And that was one of my things when I first started working. You know, I thought, oh my gosh, I sleep at work.
Yeah.
It is like, I mean, it's literally like a slumber party.
Yeah.
And sometimes we did do that in Iron County. We'd pull all of our mattresses into the living
We
room.
did too. Still
And-
do.
Yeah. And that's one thing with Ashton. He'd always come in and, I just need my locky time. And he and I'd lay, what Brett and Sydney and I always called it cat dog. Do you remember that cartoon?
Yeah, the goofy,
So we laid,
the dog
yeah.
that was attached.
And so Ashton, we did cat dog, and we'd lay in there in my bed, and we'd just talk about everything. And, you know, and that's the stuff that people don't realize, too. You become so close to these people.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's where spouses and, you know, other relationships struggle because they sometimes do, they understand exactly.
You know, in my career, you know, let's say military folks, you know, they're deployed for a total of 4 or 5 years in a 20-year career, or not even that long, much shorter now. But I've been away from my family for 6 years. If you added up all my shifts together, that's a long time to be away from
Yeah.
your family.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
they
and
have
you
to
miss
learn how to
birthday
be
parties,
themselves.
holidays.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
And my wife is incredibly strong because while I'm on shift, I'm on shift. I can't come home and check the water heater.
Right.
She's on her own. And she does such an amazing job of taking care of everything when I'm not around. So kudos to her. She does an amazing job.
Kudos to you for recognizing that, because
Yes.
there's a lot of husbands that don't recognize that,
Yeah.
or wives with husbands, vice versa. There's women. I mean, that's not recognized enough, and I think that's 99.9% of the time what kills marriages
Oh, yeah.
in this service. Because
Especially if you're not married to another first responder.
and we talked about that in Sam's episode, and we went pretty deep with it. And I thought it went really well.
Yeah,
But,
it did.
so, what do you wish more departments or leaders understood about mental health?
That no matter the years of service, it can affect you. And
Yes.
it doesn't have to be the child call. It can be the 51-year-old male who reminds you of your dad that kicks you in the pants. You know, it can be anything, can hit you, and it can hit you just wrong. And I wish, and I say this, but in our area, they do a really good job of understanding that
That's good.
you may get hit. Because it's not a matter of if you're going to get hit, it's when and how hard. It's not a matter of if you're going to go through burnout, it's when and will it last. Because it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
And if they would understand that, you know, no matter if it is the 21-year guy or the 6-month guy, you know, suck is suck. So if they understood that, we'd be a lot better off.
You guys started talking about naps, and now I can't quit yawning.
Well, and I think one of the things that bothers me a lot too doing this job, that I mean, as far as call wise, that I really question is the addiction part of it, of dealing with an addict, because that sensitive part of me always wants to know, and even if it's like the patient that we go in, and I don't want anybody to take this wrong, but they're 600 pounds. There's food all around them and whatever. People are enabling them. And I want to know, at what point in your life did you feel like it wasn't important?
Right.
And so that's where I sometimes really do struggle doing this job, in the fact of I do get too caught up in that sometimes. And I've had to stop myself and say, no, you're just the provider from this time to this time, and that's all it needs to
Right.
be. Because I think we can become so consumed in other people that we do forget about ourselves.
Yeah, you know, I've worked friends that have OD'd, and we Narcan them, get them back, and hunky dory. And I'm thinking, man, you were a baseball stud or whatever.
Yeah.
How'd you get here? What drove you to this? And for a long time, or not a long time, but for a while, I had a hard time caring about people that put themselves in that situation. And it wasn't until I hit rock bottom, like, oh,
Now I get it.
I could have been that guy with just one needle prick.
Yep.
Yep.
Just that easy. I could have made those decisions. And it changed my outlook on those folks.
So with your program too, I know everybody. I love the word onboarding. That's now what the big thing, instead of being a
Onboarding.
probationary
Yeah.
or whatever. The onboarding process. First of all, whoever finds that and it works, you're going to be a fucking millionaire, because I have yet to do an onboarding process that even began to teach you the job. Are you all incorporating the mental health aspect of it, of the probies that are coming in?
I do.
Good.
Yep, absolutely.
Good. Because that's one, I know that was discussed at the college. So what do you do? And I know it is kind of going along with this segment too, as the words of wisdom. So what are you doing?
Well, I developed a class, took about an hour, 45 minutes, something like that I would talk to my training officer and say, hey, we have X new people, volunteers. Can I teach my class? Yeah, man, you got it Sunday, or you got it next Monday, or whatever. And give them the down and dirty. You know, like new guys that come in, I'll pull them aside. Say, hey, man, you need to prepare for this. This is what you need to be ready for. I wish that the Firefighter 1 and 2 curriculum had more than 2 pages on it.
Yeah. That's what we talked about with the EMT and
Yes.
paramedic program.
There is a small section in the Firefighter 1 and 2 now, but it's small. Like, for instance, they're teaching a cop class, or police officer, whatever you call it, class back home, and I was asked to come in and teach a mental health segment. And I spoke for a couple hours, as long as they'd let me speak, to prepare them that, hey, you're going to run some shitty situations. You need to prepare for it now. Get to know the local peer support group. Get to know your HR people. Get to know anybody that could help you, get to know them.
So with your department, is everybody considered the support, or do you have like, you're the one that, okay, I'm going to get in touch with you, and then you send somebody, or, I mean.
Yeah, FIRST is a standalone.
Okay.
So it's its own organization. It's not tied to Waynesville Fire or anybody else.
Okay.
It's its own standalone organization. So like my chief Valor, he may say, hey, Joe, C-Shift ran some crap, dude.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to send them to you. Or Crocker calls us, or St. Bob, or whoever. They'll call us in to give them the support they need.
Because I think that's one. I know that some of our organizations have the peer support. Some of them have that critical incident training too.
The debriefing.
And it's the peer things. But I don't think you need to be quote unquote certified. But yeah, you should.
Yes.
Because you have to understand the confidentiality. That
And
to
we
me
are
is the
not.
key. Yeah. But I mean, I think that is something in our area that really needs to be
I agree.
looked at. And once again, you can be a resource for
And
that because we need that. And it doesn't need to be, well, I can't go and talk to the people at CEFCAD because I'm not. No. Sometimes we all need to work together. It needs
group.
to be Madison County, CEFCAD.
Yeah.
Washco.
Yes, it needs to be all of us. And we need everybody on board for it. And so I definitely think that that's something that we need to,
Look into doing.
yeah.
And me and Tyler spoke about it briefly before we started.
Yeah.
About you guys developing a FIRST program up here, a peer support program. And like I told him, we'll give you all the information we possibly can. Like for us to participate in debriefing, you have to go to what's called GRIN, Group Intervention, through Warriors Rest, and then you can participate because we can't just throw Jim in there and hope he does
Right.
okay. He has to have the 4-day training
Yeah.
or 3-day training, and that's kind of our benchmark of if you can participate or not.
Well, and I know for me, I did, I went down to the lake there for the suicide prevention and stuff, and I
Yes.
sat for like 2.5 days. It's heavy.
Oh man,
And I know and my Sunday evenings after we finish doing this, there are times like I just sit and it's heavy. It's heavy on my heart. It's heavy on me emotionally. And
It's heavy throughout the week when I'm trying to get this thing edited.
yeah.
Because I have to go back, and there's certain parts I have to listen to and correct. And like, it doesn't stop. And like, when it releases is my break. Because then I don't have to worry
Yeah.
about it until the next Sunday we record.
Right. And it is. I mean, and that's why it's important to have, because if you can't handle that as to be a peer support, then don't do it.
Right.
Exactly.
Because that can also lead into your own depression or your own issues that, and I don't know, it's just I think it's great that you're doing it. And I
Yeah.
think it's great that it came out of a tragedy. It came out of
Something
knowing
real.
that you hit rock bottom and you recognized it and you took the high road, the positive way to never let anybody else feel that way again.
yeah.
Or at least
That's-
try to. We're going to feel that way. But at least there is an outlet and an understanding.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That you don't have to find it in a bottle.
Yes.
No, and
Or
you're
in a
not doing it
pill.
alone. You're not.
It's like we tell people in any group, whether it be AA or NA or FIRST or whatever, that you have to take that first step by yourself.
Yes.
Nobody can take that first step for you. But I'll make damn sure you never take the next one alone.
Absolutely.
You'll never take another step alone.
Now, do you also have for some of the response? Because one of the things too that we notice whenever it becomes then a faith questioning. Do you have like faith-based curriculum, so to say,
Yeah.
to help with people too?
Yeah, we have one chaplain. Another one's on the onboarding process. And that way, if it is somebody who is deeply faith, like say you, just use an example, then you might want a chaplain there. If you're an atheist, you may not.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
know.
I think that is sometimes that's what stops people is that, oh, they're going to come and they're going to tell me about God and whatever. And, to each their own. But I think that sometimes stops a person.
Unless they ask for it, they'll never hear a word about it. We are simply there to support you, whatever that looks like for you. If you want faith-based stuff, we can provide it. because I too am a Christian, and I'll provide you with anything I can give you. One of my best friends, Danny, who I developed a class with, is an atheist, and we'll develop anything we can for anybody.
Work around it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
There's no minimum trauma. We don't go, well, yeah, they were 8, so they don't really count.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't matter. If it hurt you, we'll help you.
Good.
That's a good that's a motto.
Yeah. Like the back of my shirt says, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
And then we have Break the Stigma before I knew about Break the Stigma.
Yeah.
Now, I talked to the guys like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were a thing.
I'm excited to work with him. He's a really good guy.
he's
We
good
talked to him
people.
at the mental health seminar, and he was a great guy.
Yeah.
So I really look forward to hanging out with him. Now, with all this training that you have through your program, what would you tell a fireman that is secretly struggling right now?
Be honest. Be honest with yourself first. If you can't be honest with yourself, you can't be honest with anybody. Because that was my
That's so
struggle.
true. Yep.
My struggle was I wasn't honest with myself that I was hurting. I was like, oh, no, I'm just being a pansy. I can get over it. Hand me a Bud Light.
Yep.
And that's how I dealt with it. And if I was honest with myself from the get-go, I'd be in such a better place.
Yeah.
But then first might not be a thing. Mm-hmm. So maybe I had to go through hell to find the other side. I don't know. But yeah, absolutely. If you're struggling with anything mental health related or whatever, be honest with yourself. Tell yourself you need the help and then seek it out.
That's a good one.
And if you're listening, if you can hear me and I can drive to you, we will come help you. That's the long and short of it.
Well, and as we always say, if we can just save
Save
one
one life.
person,
One.
that's all
Yep.
that we try to do.
Yep. One and done is fine.
And I know I've found talking to because in the last 3-4 months, Tyler and I've done major networking. Like
lot.
we've met people from all over. And a lot of us have gone through the same stuff. And it's comforting to be able to say it out loud and not feel like you're being judged by it. Or that, oh, well, yeah, Washington County has, this, and this many people that are doing, struggle with mental health. Because we do, that is a stigma. It is a stigma.
It is.
Because we are supposed to be these strong, able-bodied people. But we are human, too.
Right. Yeah.
And, and one of the things I always say, if you don't have even just a pinch of empathy or sympathy, don't do this job.
Please.
Because I for sure, and I wouldn't name, but I know for sure of at least 3 people, I don't think they're even in the service anymore, that I would not want them to take care of me.
Right.
I would not want them to take care of a family member.
Yeah.
Because their heart is not in it.
Yep.
But I have a shit ton that I would give my life to have in their hands
Yeah.
without any doubt.
I've been to the hospital a few times and I see somebody walk in the door of the medic. Oh, thank God. It's them. I'm in
Yep.
good shape. I'm not worried now. And whenever people see me walk in the door, I want them to
Yes.
have that same feeling. Oh, thank God Joe's
didn't
here.
we talk about that not too long ago too, about how it's funny when you walk in and people are like, oh my God, I'm so glad it's you.
Yeah.
During Sam's episode, we
Yeah,
did.
It
I
was,
mean,
yeah.
and that's hard to take when you are humbled doing this job.
Yeah.
And then I always think to them like, oh my God, I do have somebody else's life in my hands,
Yeah.
and I don't even remember where I parked the Jeep.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
Lord.
But I mean, it is that's where to me it is such an honor to do this, and to think that another human being trusts me
Yeah.
with their life or their family member.
Yep.
That's a lot.
That's heavy.
It is very
Yes.
heavy.
Yeah.
It is.
So, Joe, what does taking care of your own mean to you in this profession? Because I know at the beginning of this episode, we talked about how much your brotherhood meant to you, and it's your whole faith and foundation in this service. So what does taking care of your own mean to you professionally?
It means that, to me, it means if you're hurting, I'm hurting. If you're in a
Wow.
good place, I'm in a good place. I base most of my life off how my brothers and sisters are feeling when I'm at work. And when I'm not at work too. But if they're having a rough time, I'm having a rough time with them. We'll get through it together. And by taking care of them, they can take care of others. It's kind of the way I look at it. It's just preserving their well-being is preserving my own too.
Man, if there were more people in this world like you, this world would be a hell of a lot better place.
I don't know.
Well, and I think even when you are at home, send the text message, make the quick phone call, passing by on shift change. How are you?
Yeah.
And Sydney has made fun of me a couple of times because if I'm at Walmart which is very rare that I let someone check my groceries out or whatever, but I may be wherever and random, hey, I like your shirt, or what's that shirt mean? I do that because you never know what kind of day or what kind of thing somebody's having. And me asking about a shirt or saying, I love those earrings, or tell me about that tattoo. You don't know what you may have just saved somebody.
Right.
And I'll go into asshole mode mode of, my God, speed up. Why are these lights red when I'm trying to get through there? There's some reason why that happens.
Yep.
And, it's just simple kindness.
And it's free.
It is so
It
free.
costs you
And I'm not
nothing.
going to act like sometimes I don't act like an asshole. I do. I do. But I try to I can't talk
Genuinely?
now. Blah, blah, my caffeine's kicking in. To be genuine in that.
Yeah.
I do care. I do care about everyone. I do care about how they feel. I know what it's like to feel very lonely and very scared and not want to wake up in the morning. And I don't want anybody to feel that
No.
way.
Amen.
And to be surrounded by people and feel alone is such a horrible feeling.
Yep.
It is.
You can't describe it till you've been there.
Yep.
And hopefully nobody ever goes there. But, like work at the firehouse, when I was going through my stuff, I had 12 guys around me, and I was all by myself. It felt like. It's just a horrible feeling. And that's something we've got to change.
Yep. Break the
Yes.
stigma. Exactly. Well, man, I think we're getting to the fun part, and it's good that Lockie's caffeine's kicking in because we're getting ready to hit up the rapid fire round. And if you listen to our episode, you know what's coming up at you. Hopefully, you're pretty excited for this. I didn't get to ask you at the beginning of this episode. Are you still nervous?
No, excited actually to get the word out.
Good.
And the nervousness changed quickly.
It normally does. Sam said the same thing the other day.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're enjoying this. I'm really glad you came down here to visit with us today. So I'm going to go down to a list of 10 questions. Answer them as quick as you can, as short as you can, and we're going to get to it. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All righty. Coffee or energy drink before a shift?
Coffee.
Coffee. Good man. Favorite firehouse meal?
Stew.
What kind of stew?
Venison.
I knew that's what it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's that mustache, man. I'm telling you. Music, silence, or podcast on the way to a call?
Silence.
Silence?
Yep.
That's a good one. I probably need to change it. I don't really think you listen to a whole lot of stuff on the way to a call. I probably need to.
EMS does.
Oh, that's true.
And a lot of my crew does too.
Well,
Okay,
and
well, maybe you do then.
I will have to say, a majority of the time, my partners are women, and it is filth that we listen to. It is the
Trap house music?
Yeah, it is so trap house music. But it's and then like Josh Williams, you can guarantee it's just this hardcore screaming stuff that I don't even understand. But it just is, and I think that's kind of it's interesting that. So in the silence, are you like going through? Are you the type? Because I'm the type that I need that first few minutes of, okay, so what are we taking in? What are we going to do with this? What are we going to do with that? And then turn that trap house music on for sure. Let's get Nicki Minaj up in this thing.
We're talking like WAP or
any of. I mean, it is. Sometimes it is such filth.
Oh,
that,
man.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I like to run through the entire scenario
I do too.
of how it could go every single direction.
And then I love when you roll up and it's nothing. And you're like,
shit.
Yeah,
I pumped myself up for nothing.
I didn't make that scenario.
yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
Oh, that's awesome. So this next question, this is a new question to our rapid fire round, and I wanted to try it out on you because you're a fireman. Volunteer days or career days, which taught you more?
Career. Yeah. Taught me different lessons.
Wow. Okay.
Both of them taught me amazing lessons. And I've just been in career longer. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
One piece of gear you always trust.
Oh, gosh. I guess it have to be webbing.
Yeah,
I carry webbing with me everywhere, and
you can use it for literally anything.
yeah, I'd go with webbing.
That's a good one. Dog or cat person?
Dog.
Oh, damn, that was quick.
Yeah.
That was quick.
He's all over that, man. Best way to decompress after a tough shift?
Taking the long way home.
I love those.
Instead of taking the 10-minute route,
Yep.
take the 30-minute route.
Windows down.
Yep, just chilling.
And now those times I usually don't have music on.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah,
Just complete silence.
Yep.
Early shift or night shift? You're a fireman, so you kind of do both.
I like the mornings better because me and the other guy, Danny, we get up early, and it gives us a chance to BS and talk and just.
Have the adult conversation.
Yeah. I show up to work an hour early every shift, and he does too, and we just sit around and talk, and
Gotcha.
I enjoy it.
That explains it because you were an hour early today for
Yeah.
this
Well,
episode.
so
I'm early everywhere.
I do want to know this. When you were spiraling out, did you still come in an hour early?
No.
So that was the start of
Oh, yeah.
recognizing.
Yep.
Because I've noticed that too. I notice when I'm in my funks, I literally walk into the building when I'm supposed to be clocking in.
Right.
When I'm not in my funk, I'm 30 minutes
Yep.
early. So pay attention to that, you new people.
Yeah. What's one hidden talent nobody knows about you?
I really don't have any. I thought about this one, and I just don't have any.
You can grow a sick mustache.
Okay, I got that going for me.
If Dylan Miner listens to this, he's going to divorce me. It's the way it's going to be. One word that describes the fire service to you, and I need to throw in 2 words. If you have 2 words, one can
phrase.
be or phrase. That's a good one. Let us hear it.
It should be integrity. It should always be integrity. Should be the one word that describes the fire service. It not always is, but that's what it should be. Because if you don't have integrity, you're doing it wrong.
And in this line of work, you should always do what's right, no matter who's
Yeah.
watching.
Yep.
Even if there's no one watching.
Right.
Exactly.
You should do
Yep.
what's right.
For sure. Well, Joe, man, you drove down here 2.5 hours today. I want to say thank you before I get into these our final 2 questions. You drove 2.5 hours to come set and shoot the shit with Lockie and I and talk and have a mental health day with us. I cannot thank you enough for making that drive and making that effort to be here in person. You are a fantastic guy. If there was more of you in this world, we wouldn't have a world's worry. You are a dedicated father, dedicated husband, one hell of a fireman, if I had to guess. And I'm kind of sad I don't get to run with you because you don't live down here.
Yeah.
If you ever move down this way, please come check us out. But seriously, man, you're on a great path. You're doing great things. And I'm so glad that you signed up to be on this podcast. I'm so glad you made the drive to be here with us. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep pushing forward. Keep striving for people. Keep advocating for mental health. And just keep doing you. Because you are what's going to change the world.
Thank you. I hope so.
So
You will.
for sure. After sitting here with you just a couple hours, you've been here. I feel like I've known you my whole life. And
Yeah.
I feel like everybody in life should be that way.
Yeah.
So I really, really appreciate you doing this, and I really hope you come back to visit with us one day and do another episode.
I hope to. Yeah.
That
Glad
would
to.
definitely be fun for sure. So I want to get to our last 2 final closing questions because these 2 always hit real hard and deep. What does the word valor mean to you both personally and professionally?
To not use the book answer, obviously means service over self, but willing to do anything to help a stranger. I mean, we go into burning buildings to potentially save somebody, or we deal with EMS calls, and anything could happen. Just be willing to not go home for somebody else.
Wow. That's a tough one. Now, would you consider that both personally and professionally?
Yes.
You stick them together?
Yep.
That's a good one.
And not to, I know I always have something to add to it, but I think one of the things too that, and I have a feeling just from our short time of knowing each other, valor probably also means that everybody is going to go home, and you're
Yes.
going to make sure of that. And I truly believe that there's probably not a selfish bone in your body.
Not at all.
I try not to. And if somebody's not going to go home, it's going to be me,
That's
for damn sure.
that's me too.
If it comes between me and somebody else,
Do you
it's me.
think that plays being, and I prefer the word seasoned
Mm-hmm.
because I am seasoned at my job. I'm not going to let one of these kids, because if I'm with my medic that is child age for me,
Mm-hmm.
that's my child.
Right.
And I can pick on them and call them dirty names all I want to. But you're not going to mess
Right.
with my kid.
Yep.
And
Yep.
those are my kids.
And I mean, I wouldn't say in trouble, but I've recently had a talking to that I've got to, cut the cord and
Yeah.
let them do the job. Because it's so often I'm like, look, I'll just take the hose line and go do it. No, you got to let them make their own mistakes and find their way. And it's difficult.
It is.
Even when they're not your kids, it's difficult. So,
Well, at least you're there to support them and be there with them.
Well, and it makes me happy to know that there are seasoned people, but yet the younger people, they are just as important, and they are.
Yes.
We've learned more.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation. We learn from them, but there is a huge shift. I think it's more than what we realize.
Yes.
And they can say this generation, that generation. We are bridging that gap with what we're doing
Absolutely.
with these conversations.
yeah.
I know we're making one hell of an impact to somebody somewhere. Maybe every one of these episodes is, maybe it's helping one person, maybe it's helping 100. I don't really know, but I know it's helping somebody somewhere because I've heard it come out of somebody's mouth.
Well,
Yeah.
and we talked about that this week. Because one of my things with the struggles I've had, I strayed away from faith. I strayed away from, my purpose of God, what God intended, and sometimes we are disciples to go out and to bring people to faith, whatever faith it is. I don't care if you want to worship the sun. That's fine as long as there's too many things that you can't deny that there's not a higher being in what happens, but that we present that out there for them, and there are times we'll never know the impact we have on somebody.
Right.
And that is sometimes what's tough too, is that we'll sometimes never know the difference we've made.
Yeah.
For sure.
Whenever you drop somebody at the hospital,
Yep.
you may never know if they lived or died.
Nope.
You just have to rely on that you did the best you could, and what happens.
And I think that should fall on any human being, because the gas station attendant over here next door to us, you don't know, they'll never know the impact of when I walk in and say, hey, good afternoon, whatever. You just be kind. That's all
Right.
you got to do.
Absolutely.
All you gotta do.
Yep.
Be kind. It doesn't cost a dime
Nope.
to be kind. So to keep the Voices of Valor series rolling, I always like to ask our guests to dedicate the next person to come and sit and talk with us, to do an episode of Voices of Valor with us. So, Joe, who is someone you'd like to challenge or nominate to come on Voices of Valor and share their story?
I would like to hear Danny Coleman. His point of view is amazing. He's so well spoken. It just blows my mind, his viewpoints. I think he'd do amazing for you.
Well, I hope Danny, if you're listening to this episode, you've now been called out by Joe here to come visit with us and sign up to do Voices of Valor. You can go to our website at www.midwestmayhempodcast.com, click the Voices of Valor tab, and you can sign up to be our next guest here on Voices of Valor. And I'm glad he means that much to you, for you to challenge that to him.
Yeah.
And I look forward to talking to him, and I hope he truly does.
Yeah, he's helped me keep my head on straight. So yeah,
That's amazing, man. It truly is. It sounds like you, like you said, you don't have a selfish bone in your body, and you give the shirt off your back to somebody if they needed it, and the world needs more people like it, and you are on one hell of a mission, and you're doing a great job.
thank you.
So, Joe, thank you so much for joining us here today on Midwest Mayhem Podcast and our Voices of Valor series. Joe has been our 17th guest here. We are almost to 20, Lockie. Almost to 20 people that we've talked to. I'm so excited to hit that 20 mark. I can't wait until we hit 50. We are on a good path, and we're doing so good. Met a lot of good people, done a lot of networking, as you said earlier. Got to meet Joe here, and it's crazy to think that if this never existed, we wouldn't even know who this guy is.
Right.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
That's just insane. I'm glad we've got the platform that we have, the capability, the sponsors. All of this ties together. We are all great in it's a big melting pot, and I can't thank everybody enough, especially to you, our listeners. I don't think we give you enough credit for listening to us ramble on and babble and go on about some of the stuff that we go on, even when we get off script. You guys have been supportive. Our listener base has grown over the last couple months. I'm keeping tabs on that, and it's getting bigger. So thank you to the listeners who listen to our podcast and share the word, share all of our stuff, buy our merch. You guys are doing a fantastic job in supporting us so we can support you. And Joe, again, I cannot thank you enough for driving all the way down here today from Fort Leonard Wood and Carter. And yeah.
It was my pleasure. Happy to do it.
And I really hope we get to see you again. So a couple things coming up. We got a book signing over at Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen in June.
June 20th. That's my birthday.
June 20th. Okay, good way to remember. I
Yes.
forgot to write all this down this morning. There's an adult prom coming up at Fire Lake Winery here in May. I'll have to get the date and throw that out on our Facebook page and share that. Are you going to go to the adult prom?
I might. You never know what I might do.
Maybe we'll make you a Midwest Mayhem dress.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, I think it's 90s and 2000s music too, and that's kind of my.
Oh, good Lord.
If they play Justin Bieber, I'm trying to bring back Justin Bieber 2011. That's what I rolled up listening in my Jeep was Justin Bieber.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, we got those coming up. Make sure you come over here and support our friends at Frontline Armory. These guys are fantastic to us. Nathan and Craig, cannot thank them enough. They let us come over here and sit every Sunday. Poor Nathan coops himself up in his office for hours on end while we sit here and babble. And they take care of us, get us what we need. And at some point in time, I'm going to have to promote Nathan to our equipment / business marketing manager because he takes care of us. And
He does.
I don't know what I'd do without him. He really is a great guy, and his episode was really good. So Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen, go over, get you some coffee and some great food. Check out what an amazing space. Very military themed. It's really neat. They got a lot of old military items in there. Check it out. Look at their framed wall heroes. Lots of those going up. Adam is a great guy. Done an episode with him back in December. Cannot thank him enough. And Fire Lake Winery, beautiful 20-acre property out there. Beautiful lake, beautiful patio, great food, and it looks like it is made by Gordon Ramsay. I mean, their food looks incredible.
And it's good too. And their food is really good.
I haven't had a chance to eat there yet.
The pasta salad.
I need to take Maria out there to eat, but I'm so thankful for them to join the Voices of Valor Legacy sponsors. All of these guys have purchased our top sponsor package, and they are our top sponsors. Again, if you're wanting to sponsor, go to our website, www.midwestmayhempodcast.com. Go to the advertising tab, and you can find all of our forms there. We would love to have more businesses on here who support our first responder friends and the mission that we're doing. And you guys, we cannot thank you enough for everything you do for us. So make sure you check them out. Stay local, shop local. Lockie, you got anything you want to add?
Well, I do appreciate people supporting this.
Absolutely.
It means a lot to have the community support us. It means a lot to have people listening to us. And it does. I mean, we're making a difference.
One hell of a difference.
And unfortunately, and we name our people. We name our hunters. We name the young lady, the 2-year-old. We name our Ashtons, our Kloss. It keeps their memories alive. And tragedy brought this out and without these people, we would not be able to do it.
No.
And I appreciate Nathan and everybody, Adam, everybody, the Fire Lake for taking a chance on us.
Yes.
Because they didn't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially the way the economy is. And they're taking a chance. They see what our job, what we're doing, what our mission is. And that means a lot to me.
It means a lot to me, too. I cannot thank these guys enough.
And sometimes it's very surreal. You and I have kind of talked about that. I mean, it's weird to network and meet these people and thinking that we're sharing a story that is potentially going to save someone's life.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys go check out the Kloss Foundation as well. It is the link to them, or the link to Kloss Foundation is on our website now. You click the picture of Kloss Foundation, take you right to the website to support our friend Sheila and her mission to end bullying and school violence. Unfortunately, she lost her child to that, and it's a one hell of a mission. I read their mission statement on their website the other day and about cried.
Which Sunday is May 1st, which opens up Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mental Health Awareness Month.
Right,
Big
because
month
suicide
for us.
prevention is in September.
September, yes.
So, take a moment to share a story or, to support the cause in any way you can.
Absolutely. So you guys, if you guys live anywhere near a volunteer firehouse, I like to throw this in on all of our episodes. Please go volunteer. Please go sign up. I didn't want to get back into it, but now that I'm back in it, I realize I missed it, and I'm so glad. So come join us. Come do a job that is forever a life-marking event is the best way I can put it. So go volunteer at your local fire departments, sign up, get the training. They will take care of you. You'll gain another family and so many friends, and I cannot advocate for that enough. Other than that, I don't have anything. Joe, do you have anybody you'd like to say hi to if they're listening to this episode?
Just all the guys at the house.
There you go. You think a lot of your guys are going to listen?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope they're all welcome to come sign up for Voices of Valor, and I'll talk to every one of them.
Okay.
Well,
Cool.
and I admire your organization for
Yes.
stepping forward and taking this seriously.
Yeah. The people in the group are just no joke people. They're just the salt of the earth.
Absolutely. Well, Mayhem Militia, this has been another episode of Midwest Mayhem, Voices of Valor, guest 17, Joe Wilkes. Got it
Hey.
right. There we
Yay.
go. Great episode. I love sitting here with these guys in Frontline Armory, and I cannot thank you enough. Stay strong. Stay in the militia. Stay following us. We've got so much more coming up, so many more guests, and I can't wait to talk to you all again. I am your host, Tyler.
And I'm Lockie.
Stay strong, guys. We'll talk to you guys here soon, and we'll talk to you again next Sunday. Until then, see you later.